Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Anika Zati Tantara Tanta Vita Anibita Kahangara Gavita Do Dukha Zati Puna Puna Kahangara Gati Do Di Puna Gihana Gahati Tabati Paduka Beka Kahakuta Vidin Kata Vidin Karakata Sita Tananang Kya Misaga Anika Zati Tantara Tanta Vita Anibita Kahagara Gavita Do Dukha Zati Puna Puna Kahagara Gati Do Di Puna Gihana Gahati Tabati Paduka Beka Kahakuta Vidin Kata Vidin Karakata Sita Tananang Kya Misaga Anika Zati Tantara Tanta Vita Anibita Kahagara Gavita Do Dukha Zati Puna Puna Kahagara Gati Do Di Puna Gihana Gahati Tabati Paduka Beka Kahakuta Vidin Kata Vidin Karakata Sita Tananang Kya Misaga Idi Imadame Zati Ida Hodi Imado Bada Ida Obesadi Yadida Oisa Besaya Tinkara Besaya Vinyana Besaya Namaroba Besaya Dalayarana Besaya Pada Besaya Vedana Besaya Dana Besaya Upadana Besaya Bhava Besaya Zadi Besaya Sramarana Doka Prideva Dukkha Domna Dupayata Tambondi Eva Midata Kivalata Dukkha Kandata Tamudyo Hodi Yadahawe Padu Bondi Dhamma Adabino Sayato Bhyamanata Adada Kinka Vabayanti Dabayato Pasanati Dahidu Dhamam Idi Imadame Adadi Idana Hodi Imada Niroda Idan Nirozadi Yadida Avisa Niroda Tinkara Nirodo Tinkara Niroda Vinyana Nirodo Vinyana Niroda Namarupa Nirodo Namarupa Niroda Dalayarana Nirodo Dalayarana Niroda Pada Nirodo Pada Niroda Virana Nirodo Vedana Niroda Dana Nirodo Dana Niroda Upadana Nirodo Upadana Niroda Bhava Nirodo Bhava Niroda Zati Nirodo Sadi Niroda Sramarana Doka Prideva Dukkha Domna Dupayata Nirozandi Eva Midata Kivalata Dukkha Khandata Nirodo Hodi Yada Hawe Padu Bondi Dhamma Adabino Sayato Bhyamanata Adada Kinka Vabayanti Dabayato Khayam Pasayana Avedi Idi Imadame Zati Ida Hodi Imado Bada Ida Obesadi Imadame Adadi Ida Nahodi Imada Niroda Ida Nirozadi Yadida Oisa Pesaya Tinkara Pesaya Vinyana Pesaya Namarupa Pesaya Dalayarana Pesaya Pada Pesaya Virana Vedana Pesaya Dana Pesaya Upadana Pesaya Bhava Pesaya Zadi Pesaya Sramarana Doka Prideva Dukkha Domna Dupayata Tambondi Eva Midata Kivalata Dukkha Khandata Tamudyo Hodi Avijaya Dveva Adita Viraga Niroda Thangara Nirodo Thangara Niroda Vijnana Nirodo Vijnana Niroda Nama Rupa Nirodo Nama Rupa Niroda Dalayarana Nirodo Dalayarana Niroda Pada Nirodo Pada Niroda Virana Nirodo Vedana Niroda Dana Nirodo Dana Niroda Upadana Nirodo Upadana Niroda Bhava Nirodo Bhava Niroda Sati Nirodo Sati Niroda Sramarana Dogapi Deva Dukha Domna Dupayata Nirosandi Eva Medata Kivalata Dukha Khandata Nirodo Hodi Yada Hawaii Padu Bondi Dhamma Adapino Zayado Vyamanata Vidubhaya Dite Mara Dena Duyoha Obadaya Manda Likham Hedu Besyo Aramana Besyo Adivadi Besyo Anandara Besyo Tamanandara Besyo Tazada Besyo Inya Minya Besyo Nidya Besyo Upanidya Besyo Purezada Besyo Besazada Besyo Adivana Besyo Kama Besyo Vipaka Besyo Hara Besyo Indriya Besyo Sana Besyo Mekha Besyo Nambyoda Besyo Vaipyoda Besyo Adi Besyo Nati Besyo Vigada Besyo Avigada Besyo Hodi Siendo Bodhya Mule Tajana Nandi Odano Eva Mevasya Hodu Ziyadu Ziya Mingale Aparasita Palingre Dide Buddhu Vipokale Abhide Gedaba Bodhana Ekapado Pamodadi Tunekatan Tumengalan Tupapatan Tuotida Tukano Tumodo Sadu Yaitam Yama Saridu Padakina Kama Wasakama Padakina Padakina Manokama Panidi De Padakine Padakina Nikadawana Labanta De Padakine E Adalada Dukita Virola Buddha Dadani Aroga Dukita Hota Dadavihi Nyadivi Bhavadutapa Mingalara Kantutapa Devada Dava Buddha Nubavi Nadra Duki Bondude Bhavadutapa Mingalara Kantutapa Devada Dava Dhamma Nubavi Nadra Duki Bondude Bhavadutapa Mingalara Kantutapa Devada Dava Danga Nubavi Nadra Duki Bondude Nadu 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 Yada Nubhavado Yakhani Vadadindi Vedana Yami Sevaniyo Zado Radindi Va Madandido Dukhan Dupadi Dodo Sa Pampakinsi Napatadi Eva Madi Gonu Beda Preda Dhammana Mahi Karaniya Mada Kudale Na Yanda Tandam Pada Bidamisa Dega Uzu Zadu Huzu Zadu Vaso Sada Mudu Nadimani Tando Dega Zadu Parosa Abakiso Sada Luka Hodi Tandindriya Zani Bagosa Abaga Bagule Doa Nanu Gaido Naza Gauda Madre Gainsi Yena Wenyu Pre Upa Wediyo Dukino Wakimino Hundu Tabatata Bundu Duki Dada Yegesi Bana Buddha Titava Tavara Vanavadeda Igawa Iwa Manda Miti Marata Gandu Gatula Idava Iwa Adida Iwa Dure Vadandi Avi Dure Buddha Vadamiti Vadavatata Bundu Duki Dada Abra Brani Gopeta Nadi Minyeda Gadasi Naginsi Yarodana Brigadinya Ninya Minyata Duka Mizya Madaya Daniya Buddha Mayuda Eka Buddha Manuraki Yomi Taba Buddha Dumanata Bhavaye Abrimana Mitten Satava Lokatami Manata Bhavaye Abrimana Oda Adosatiri and Saatabada Aviramata Data Sarani Dino Vadiano Yavada Vidamido Idan the day Data Heya Brahma Meda Viharamida Mahu Data Sanubagama Dilawa Dadnena Dambano Kamidu Vinya Gita Naisa Dugavadiya Punaredi Sabi Sandhya Sabi Bana Sabi Buddha Sabi Bogala Sabi Adabhava Vriyabanam Sava Idiyo Sabi Purisa Sabi Ariya Sabi Nariya Sabi Deva Sabi Manosa Sabi Vinibhajika Avira Hundu Avya Bija Hundu Aniga Hundu Sukhiyadana Vriharandu Dukkha Mochandu Yada Lada Sampadido Mavi Chandu Kamasaka Buradi Maya Disaya Bisi Maya Disaya Udraya Disaya Dakinaya Disaya Buradi Maya Nudisaya Bisi Maya Nudisaya Udraya Nudisaya Dakinaya Nudisaya Iti Maya Disaya Ubri Maya Disaya Sabi Sada Sabi Bhanam Sabi Buddha Sabi Bogala Sabi Adabhava Vriyabanam Sava Idiyo Sabi Purisa Sabi Riya Sabi Nariya Sabi Deva Sabi Manosa Sabi Vinibhajika Avira Hundu Avya Bija Hundu Aniga Hundu Sukhi Adana Vriharandu Dukkha Mochandu Yada Lada Sampadido Mavi Chandu Kamasakam Udayava Bhakaja Doyava Avijido Samanda Jagavale Suyesada Bhatawijara Avya Bijani Vera Janidoga Janupadva Udayava Bhakaja Doyava Avijido Samanda Jagavale Suyesada Udagejara Avya Bijani Vera Janidoga Janupadva Udayava Bhaka Jadoyava Avijido Samanda Jagavale Suyesada Akase Jara Avya Bijani Vera Janidoga Janupadva Yabanda Kusala Dasa Anubhavena Bandino Sabi Sadama Rajasa Nyatavadama Sukhawaham Pabunandu Visodaya Sukhaya Pradipadiya Asoka Manubhaya Sanibhana Sukha Moddhamam Chira Dejedu Sadamo Dhame Hundu Sakarava Sabibi Sadakalina Samadhiyo Bahusadu Yada Rakisu Morana Surajano Tathevima Raja Rakadu Dhammina Adanova Vajam Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Pripadiya Buddha Pujemi Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Pripadiya Dhamma Pujemi Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Pripadiya Sangha Pujemi Ada imaya padipadiya jadi jara vyadi marana maprimo jaisami idami punya aswakhya waha hodu idami punya nibbana sabbichyo hodu mama punya baga sabbasadanam bhajemi Di sabime sama punya baga labhandu Sadu, sadu, sadu.
Nanti sudah ya.
Harus pilih
Saya tetap langsung jalan
tidak
dulu.
bisa there's an issue with the Zoom link again.
So we can directly start the Dhamma talk, I feel.
Okay, Bante.
Right?
Sure, Bante.
Okay.
Yes, please go ahead and start the Dhamma talk. Thank you, Bante.
Translator, can you introduce me the translator?
I'll introduce the translator for today. Sahabat Dhamma, mari kita bersikap hormat dan penuh perhatian saat mendengarkan penjelasan yang akan disampaikan oleh Bhikkhu Watagoda Maggavihārī dan diterjemahkan oleh Brother Adiansyah. Bante, we would like to invite Bante to kindly start the Dhamma talk now.
May I take the screens there? Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good evening, everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the Pāramīs, the second lecture of the series which we started last month. Pāramī means the attributes that we need to develop in order to attain the liberation. So last time we talked about what Pāramīs are and what sort of a mindset that we should have in order to develop Pāramīs. So today I'm going to talk about the 3 specific bodhis of enlightenment. So why do we fulfill Pāramī? In order to get liberated. So it can be explained either as we fulfill Pāramī to attain the Magga Jnana, so we get liberated in Nibbana, or we fulfill Pāramī directly to attain Nibbana. And attainment of Nibbana is done by attaining Magga Jnana. And it can be done in 3 ways, either by becoming a Buddha, by becoming a Pacceka Buddha, or becoming an Arahant. So we call these are the 3 types of bodhi, 3 types of bodhi. Each bodhi, the fulfillment of Pāramī towards each bodhi is different from each other. They are very much different. So what sort of a mentality or mindset that we should have in order to attain the specific bodhi, that will be our topic today.
Baik, selamat malam semua. Bante akan melanjutkan diskusi kita. Ini adalah seri kedua dari diskusi tentang Pāramī. Pada pertemuan sebelumnya kita sudah memahami bahwa Pāramī merupakan atribut untuk yang perlu dikembangkan untuk mencapai pembebasan. Kemarin Bante dalam pertemuan kemarin sudah menjelaskan apa itu Pāramī dan mindset yang tepat mengenai Pāramī. Pada kesempatan kali ini, Bante akan menjelaskan lebih lanjut lagi tentang 3 spesifik tubuh atau 3 spesifik tipe pembebasan. Yang pertama adalah seorang Sammasam Buddha, kedua adalah seorang Pacceka Buddha, dan ketiga adalah sebagai seorang Arahat. Di mana untuk masing-masing tubuh pencerahan ini atau tipe pencerahan ini, Pāramī yang berbeda, pendekatan Pāramī yang berbeda itu dibutuhkan.
Right. So there are 3 types of bodhis: Sammasambuddhahood, Pacceka Buddhahood, and becoming an Arahant. in order to become an arahant, we should have the desire or intention of getting liberated from samsara as quick as possible, because the mindset to become an arahant is to get rid of samsara. First, we need to think that all three liberations, like all three types of liberation, becoming a Buddha or a Pacceka Buddha or an arahant, the main aim is to get liberated, But of a Samma Sambuddha, he also have a desire, while he get liberated, he also have a desire to make others liberate as well. Pacceka Buddha has a desire to liberate by himself without waiting for a Buddha, without waiting for the dispensation of a Buddha, or without getting the help of a Buddha. Arahant has the desire to get rid of samsara. So therefore, each bodhi, if you look at the final outcome, the path would be different in terms of the way they attain or in terms of what they want to do with the attainment. But all three are equal in the sense of liberating from samsara. A Samma Sambuddha also wants to get rid of samsara. Pacceka Buddha also wants to get rid of samsara. Arahant also wants to get rid of samsara. The difference is a Samma Sambuddha wishes not only for his liberation but also the liberation of others. So, and a Pacceka Buddha wants to liberate by himself without waiting for a Samma Sambuddha. Then Arahant would find out that it is not easy to liberate by himself, so he would get the help of a Samma Sambuddha and get liberated as soon as possible. So these are the three ways of liberating. So a person who wants to become an arahant, I'll explain it in detail later on, wants to be an arahant should have the mindset of liberating himself, getting liberated from samsara and attaining nirvana as soon as possible. So from the beginning, from the outset, he should be thinking or considering about the dangers of samsara and the benefits of attaining nirvana.
Baik, tiga macam pencerahan ini semua memiliki tujuan yang sama, yaitu adalah mereka semua terbebaskan dari samsara. Yang membedakan adalah jalan untuk mencapai pembebasan tersebut dan aspirasi mereka dalam mencapai tujuan tersebut. Seorang Samma Sambuddha memiliki aspirasi untuk terbebaskan dari samsara dan sementara itu pula membimbing makhluk-makhluk lain untuk juga terbebas dari samsara. Seorang Pacceka Buddha memiliki aspirasi untuk terbebaskan dari samsara dengan tanpa harus menunggu atau belajar dari seorang Samma Sambuddha. Sementara seorang arahat memiliki aspirasi untuk terbebaskan secepat-cepatnya dari samsara dengan di bawah pengajaran atau bimbingan daripada seorang Buddha. Jadi seperti itu yang bisa sampaikan.
Right. So now, in order to be a Pacceka Buddha, one needs to have a mindset. Now, all of them need to fulfill 10 types of Pāramī. There's no argument in it. But the mindset that we should have related to our Bodhi is very important. A person who wants to be a Pacceka Buddha has a desire to liberate by himself. It's very important that I'll explain it later why someone wishes to be a Pacceka Buddha. He doesn't want to wander in samsara waiting for the appearance of a Samma Sambuddha. He develops his inner qualities that he would get, whenever his paramis are fulfilled, he would liberate from samsara whenever he is ready. Whenever he is ready. So that is the main purpose of a Pacceka Buddha. So Pacceka Buddha sees the dangers of waiting in samsara till the appearance of a Samma Sambuddha. So he finds out that you have to suffer a lot because we cannot control the appearance of Samma Sambuddhas. It depends on how many people are wishing to become Samma Sambuddha and how much they are striving, how much they are successful. That is a variable that we cannot control, which is out of our control. So if someone wants to be an Arahant, he has to wait in samsara till a Samma Sambuddha appears. So some people see this as a danger and wishes to get liberated by themselves. So they wish of Pacceka Buddhahood. So that is the mindset of a Pacceka Buddha in brief.
Cara singkat, mindset daripada seorang Pacceka Buddha adalah beliau beraspirasi untuk secepatnya terbebas dari samsara tanpa harus berkelana berulang-ulang di dalam samsara ini, dalam lingkaran kehidupan dan kelahiran dan kematian, menunggu kedatangan atau kehadiran seorang Samma Sambuddha. Seperti kita tahu, seorang arahat itu mencapai pembebasan setelah bertemu seorang Samma Sambuddha dan belajar. Nah, seorang Pacceka Buddha ini melihat bahaya jika dia harus menunggu kehadiran Samma Sambuddha yang belum jelas kapan, kemudian dia harus berkelana berulang-ulang di dalam samsara, maka kemudian dia bertekad mengembangkan kualitas-kualitas unggul untuk bisa terbebas dari samsara oleh dirinya sendiri.
Yeah. Then in order to be a Samma Sambuddha, he should develop, a person who wishes to be a Samma Sambuddha should develop the compassion towards the living beings, other beings, that he should always think that my effort is to liberate as beings as much as possible. So I'm trying for such a great enlightenment, such a great attainment, so in future I'll be able to liberate these beings from this samsara. So a person who wants to be a Samma Sambuddha should also strive to get knowledge as much as possible in order to develop, to reach the omnisciency. At the same time, his main wish is to liberate beings from samsara. So he is not a person who always thinks about his own liberation, but rather he thinks about how important and why should I always strive to liberate other beings, because they will never have a chance to get rid of samsara unless there is Samma Sambuddha. So he takes the responsibility of liberating other beings. So his mindset is quite different from the other two because he has an extra effort, extra vision that this effort is not only for me but for many others. So a person who wishes to be a Samma Sambuddha should develop the great compassion towards many beings.
Seorang Samma Sambuddha itu, seorang yang ingin beraspirasi menjadi seorang Samma Sambuddha itu memiliki welas asih yang luar biasa kepada semua makhluk hidup. Tujuannya adalah beliau ingin membebaskan sebanyak mungkin makhluk daripada samsara ini. Untuk itu beliau mengembangkan, mempelajari sebanyak mungkin pengetahuan yang dapat beliau pelajari, yang dapat beliau raih. Karena dia tidak memikirkan hanya tentang bagaimana dirinya sendiri bisa terbebas dari samsara, tetapi beliau memikirkan bahwa bagaimana makhluk-makhluk yang begini banyak ini dapat terbebas dari samsara bila tidak ada orang yang membimbing mereka.
Right.
Baik.
So yeah. So then now we'll start from in detail what would be the mindset of a person who wishes to be a Samma Sambuddha, and a person who wishes to be a Pacceka Buddha, and a person who wishes to be a Arahant. So we go into detail.
Sekarang kita akan masuk lebih detail lagi bagaimana seorang menuju jalur Pacceka Buddha, jalur Arahat, dan jalur Samma Sambuddha.
So it is mentioned in the books, especially in the commentary for Charya Pitaka, how a person starts this journey of becoming a Samma Sambuddha. Always we need to keep in mind, whatever the attainment we wish, whatever the attainment we are looking at, this is not something that we can achieve in 1 or 2 days. This is a lifelong practice whatever bodhi we are wishing, either to be Arahant or a Pacceka Buddha or a Samma Sambuddha. And it may take lives. So what one is supposed to do is try their best as much as possible to do what they are supposed to do. So fulfilling Pāramī means doing that is necessary in order to attain the liberation. And it cannot be done. Now, for example, if you think about becoming a doctor, you cannot just be a doctor because you want it. You cannot be a doctor out of in 2 or 3 days just because of reading some books or trying hard. So in the same way, these bodhis, attainments cannot be achieved in 1 or 2 days. It is a lifelong practice that one has to maintain in order to reach these stages. So the first thing we should have is anyone who is wishing to be liberated should have the vision that this is a constant practice. We should keep on doing this, doing what we should do till we die. So that should be the mindset of a person who is wishing to get liberated. And then it differs based on the attainment that we are wishing. So first thing is we need to keep in mind this is not delaying. Becoming a Buddha is not delaying your liberation. Becoming a Buddha, Samma Sambuddha is reaching a greater goal. That's how we should think. Becoming a Pacceka Buddha is not delaying your liberation. It's fastening your attainment. Becoming an Arahant is not inferior. It is for the sake of your own liberation, getting rid of samsara. So all 3 bodhis are greater in that sense. They have their different benefits. So it's up to the person to decide which bodhi he would prefer and he would aim at. And then fulfilling Pāramīs is not something delaying our attainment, but doing what we should do in order to reach our goal. Always think about becoming a good person or reaching a higher level in society. In order to reach that, we have to work hard in order to reach that place. In order to be a billionaire, you have to work hard, for example. Maybe you will not never reach it in this life. But still, what you have to do is, you have to do what you are supposed to do. So likewise, fulfilling Pāramīs means doing that is what is necessary in order to reach the state, and that should be a constant practice.
Jadi menurut literatur, misalnya seperti kitab komentar daripada Carya Pitaka, yang menjelaskan banyak tentang bagaimana seorang memulai perjalanan menuju pembebasannya, yang perlu Bapak Ibu ketahui bahwa ini bukanlah sesuatu yang dapat dicapai cuma dalam 1-2 hari. Ini bisa membutuhkan investasi waktu seluruh masa hidup Bapak Ibu atau bahkan beberapa masa kehidupan. Melakukan yang terbaik tentang apa yang dibutuhkan untuk mencapai pembebasan ini adalah Pāramī. Sama seperti misalnya seorang dokter, nggak bisa cuma misalnya, saya pengen jadi dokter, kemudian baca 1-2 buku, kemudian 2-3 hari kemudian buka praktek kedokteran, seperti itu. Tidak memungkinkan. Tetapi menjadi seorang dokter butuh proses, butuh latihan, butuh pendidikan, dan kemudian seiring dengan dia melakukan prakteknya, makin banyak latihan, makin banyak kasus yang diperoleh, dia bisa menjadi dokter yang makin ahli. Nah, demikian juga pembebasan merupakan dicapai melalui praktek yang konstan dari masa kehidupan kita saat ini sampai kemudian mungkin sampai dengan akhir kehidupan kita. Yang Bapak Ibu perlu ketahui di sini, memupuk Pāramī itu bukanlah artinya kemudian kita menunda-nunda pembebasan. Memupuk Pāramī artinya bukan kemudian nanti ajalah pembebasannya, atau saya lagi memupuk Pāramī, bukan seperti itu. Tetapi memupuk Pāramī justru kita sedang melakukan apa yang betul-betul dibutuhkan untuk mencapai tujuan kita, mencapai pembebasan. Menjadi seorang Samma Sambuddha itu bukan artinya menunda-nunda pembebasan. Tetapi menjadi seorang Samma Sambuddha justru Bapak Ibu mencoba mencapai greater things, mencapai hal yang lebih tinggi lagi. Selain Bapak Ibu terbebas dari samsara, Bapak Ibu juga membawa serta sebanyak mungkin makhluk untuk bisa terbebaskan dari samsara. Menjadi seorang paceka Buddha itu juga bukan menunda-nunda, malah artinya ketika Bapak Ibu bercita-cita beraspirasi menjadi seorang paceka Buddha, Bapak Ibu itu ingin segera mempercepat pembebasan Bapak Ibu tanpa harus menunggu kehadiran seorang sama Sang Buddha. Demikian pula menjadi seorang arahat itu bukan berarti menjadi tujuan yang rendah, karena tujuannya pada akhirnya semuanya ketiganya adalah sama, yaitu terbebaskan dari samsara. Nah, parami ini adalah melakukan yang kita butuhkan, itu membutuhkan kerja keras sehingga akhirnya kita bisa mencapai tujuan akhir.
So now it is mentioned in the commentary of Charya Pitaka how someone starts this process of becoming a Samma Sambuddha. It is said now in the beginning, the first thought, seed of thought of becoming a Samma Sambuddha arises due to any of the four reasons. First is not due to great compassion, because having great compassion towards all the other beings is something that is of a level of a higher level in terms of spirituality, like sacrificing all the pleasures that we have because of other beings is not something that someone can do easily, very easily. So therefore, in the beginning of the process of becoming a Samma Sambuddha, no one would have the great compassion that like the ascetic Sumedha had in front of the Buddha Dipankara. That level, reaching that level, is an achievement through a very long process of fulfilling paramis. In the beginning, it is said the thought appears either because of one of the four reasons. First, these are called four paccaya. Four paccaya for the abhinihara. Abhinihara means the moment a person becomes destined to be a Samma Sambuddha. Now, our Buddha became destined to be a Buddha at the foot of the Buddha Dipankara. We all know the story. The ascetic Sumedha. Ascetic Sumedha got the proclamation that he will be a Buddha one day as Gotama, and he called Gotama. So, in order to reach that, so that is the moment he becomes destined, sure to attain Samma Sambuddhahood one day. So, in order to reach that state, he has to practice for a long period. So, how this practice starts? So, there can be one of the four reasons. First is he sees the Buddha's glory, especially while he is performing psychic powers. Then another reason can be he hears the glory of the Buddha. Buddha is such and such a person. Then he gets the desire, oh, I should also be someone like that. Seeing the Buddha performing psychic powers, obviously people feel, oh, isn't it good that I would be such a person? Obviously it arises in us when we see a person very famous in the society, we also want to be such a person. Like in the same way, seeing a Buddha, that thought arises. Listening the story of the Buddha. The third is, I shall explain it later in the next phase. Next is listening to a Dhamma talk given by the Buddha about the qualities of the Buddha. Sometimes Buddha praises the quality of a Tathagata. Tathagata has these qualities and so forth. So listening to a talk given by the Buddha himself about Buddha, sometimes the desire arises. And the fourth is respecting the Dhamma. Respecting the Dhamma means a person with a great desire, great good qualities within himself, learning what is the path towards Buddhahood. This is what a Bodhisattva has to, these are the steps that the Bodhisattva has to follow in order to reach Buddhahood. Give dana, practice sila, give up the sensual pleasures. So listening to them, reading them, he feels, oh, it's good for me to practice and protect such good qualities. So with the desire to be a good person, with the desire to do good practice, he starts to practice as a Bodhisattva. So these are the four reasons which I will explain in the next phase. Seeing the Buddha performing certain miracles, one gets the desire to be a Buddha one day. listening to the story of a Buddha and listening to the discourses given by a Buddha about the Buddha, and fourth is learning the path towards the Buddhahood and having a desire to reach that final goal, completing this path.
Baik, seperti tertera dalam kitab komentar daripada Carya Pitaka, disebutkan di sana adalah benih pikiran yang muncul pada saat seorang beraspirasi menjadi seorang sama Sang Buddha. Ini disebut sebagai pacaya untuk abinihara, yaitu adalah kondisi penopang untuk seseorang dapat memperoleh kepastian, ramalan kepastian untuk menjadi suatu saat akan menjadi seorang sama Sang Buddha. Seperti misalnya Buddha kita itu memperoleh abinihara pada saat posisi berhadapan dengan yang mulia Buddha di Pangkara pada saat menjadi pertapa Sumedha. Nah, benih pikiran ini bukanlah great compassion, bukanlah welas asih yang besar, maha karuna, itu bukan. Karena untuk bisa mengembangkan level maha karuna seperti misalnya levelnya pertapa Sumedha pada saat itu merupakan akumulasi hasil latihan yang lama dalam berbagai kehidupan seperti itu. Nah, tetapi apa yang menjadi benih pertama seorang bisa beraspirasi menjadi seorang sama Sang Buddha? Pertama adalah jika dia melihat secara langsung seorang sama Sang Buddha dengan keagungannya, terutama sekali ketika yang mulia Buddha, seorang sama Sang Buddha ini menunjukkan kemampuan supranaturalnya. Nah, kemudian dia bisa begitu kagum, wah ini luar biasa, saya ingin menjadi seperti ini. Itu satu. Kedua, bila dia mendengar secara langsung bagaimana keagungan yang mulia Buddha, atau pada saat yang mulia Buddha melakukan kemampuan, mempertunjukkan kemampuan supranatural. Itu yang kedua. Yang ketiga adalah mendengarkan secara langsung uraian dhamma daripada seorang sama Sang Buddha tentang kualitas-kualitas agung daripada seorang sama Sang Buddha. Ini bisa menimbulkan aspirasi untuk kemudian yang kuat ya, untuk kemudian bertekad saya ingin menjadi seorang sama Sang Buddha. Yang keempat adalah ketika seorang menjunjung tinggi dhamma, ketika dia mempelajari Tipitaka dengan seksama dan melihat perjalanan ya, perjuangan jerih payah dari seorang bodhisatta hingga menjadi seorang sama Sang Buddha, misalnya bodhisatta kita gitu ya, Siddhartha gitu ya. Nah, dia mendengar, membaca ini, menghayati ini, dan kemudian keluar aspirasi, oh ini adalah suatu hal yang mulia, yang bahkan suatu hal yang baik sekali bila untuk saya lakukan juga demi kebaikan banyak makhluk. Nah, ini bisa menjadi 4 jalan seperti ini. Jadi melihat, mendengar, mempelajari khotbah daripada yang langsung daripada seorang sama Sang Buddha tentang kualitas Buddha, dan yang keempat adalah karena dia menjunjung tinggi dhamma.
Right. So the first is now all these 4. If you analyze these 4 paccaya, a person who starts the journey to be a Samma Sambuddha, these 4 are not triggered by compassion. These are self-motivated for self-success. Now, someone sees a Buddha performing the twin miracles. Always one would see, like, think about someone performing a sportsman. Someone becomes the greatest sportsman ever. So when we see his success, we feel happy about him. Oh, we feel very pleasant and we feel happy that he has achieved such a thing. Normally that's what happened to most of the people. Sometimes some may get upset because of some other defilements, but most of the people would be happy about someone performing successfully in such a level. Then we would feel, okay, is it nice to be such a person, to be admired by the entire world, to be the best person in such a department? Yes, such thoughts arise in most of us. So seeing the Buddha performing twin miracles unmatched by any other ascetic, surely a person would feel an energetic, ambitious person. Oh, isn't it nice that I would be such a person? It is mentioned in our literature that when the Buddha, after preaching Dhamma in the Devaloka, Abhidhamma, when he descended to the human world, human realm, he performed some miracles, and none of the people, Putujanas who were around who saw this had a thought. None of them didn't have a thought. That means every Putujana had a thought that may I be a Buddha one day, in order to do such a thing, such a great thing. It is said that not most of the people who wish for such a attainment would not reach there, would end up in a lower stage. That is for sure. But that is the initial thought that comes. So think about this. This is not based on karuna. This is based on a motivation to bring ourselves into a higher position, to achieve such a task. Then sometimes when we listen, when we read the great story of the Buddha, we may not be able to see him live, but listening to the story, listening to a Dhamma talk or reading the books, we may feel, oh, isn't it nice that I would be such a person one day? Such thought arises. So that is also a self-motivated and also a motivation regarding his own success. Now the third is listening to the Buddha preaching his own qualities. This is another very special occasion. Now we read the story of the Buddha through the books or listen from someone, and sometimes we see what he's doing. Now in this third occasion, someone listens Buddha preaching his own qualities, and without any arrogance. Sometimes people do speak about their qualities with arrogance, with mana. Then we don't feel it much. We feel like, oh, he's boasting about himself. But if someone without arrogance, with clear understanding, without any mana or trying to glorify himself, but just telling the good qualities that he has, it shows the confidence of the person. It shows the success of the person, that he has reached the level and he is capable of explaining it. So it's really attractive. Someone would feel, oh, I should be such a person that one day I'll be able to talk about my success to the world in such a way. So when Buddha said Tathagata has achieved this and this, it's not just talking about his final life. This is a success that he attained through a practice of enormous lives. So listening to this story, people may get the feeling, oh, I want to be such a person one day. Now think about this. This is also for self-success. There's nothing related with karuna in this sense, in this occasion. Then the fourth factor is, some people they possess certain qualities in themselves that they want to do good things. They want to achieve some task. They want to fulfill something in the life, meaningful something in the life. We know such people. And it's not that they are going to they are not going to harm the world. Some people have such a desire to do something, so in the end they end up making a world war or a conflict among others. But some people have a desire to do something useful to the world, do meaningful something in the life. So when reading the Buddha's story, Bodhisattva's story, what he has done in order to reach that level, one person may get a feeling, oh, I want to walk on this path. I want to be this successful man who has completed this task and finally want to achieve this. So in this regard, in this fourth approach, in the first three, they were thinking about the final outcome. Their aim is to be a person who perform such psychic powers and become the greatest man on the earth, in the universe, or listening to the story to be such a guy, and listening to Buddha preaching his own qualities to be such a confident person who can preach about his success. Now, all these three, if you think sharply, you will feel that the aim is to achieve such a goal. In the fourth case, he wants to complete the task. So he's enjoying the process, he's enjoying the practice, he's enjoying what a bodhisattva is doing in order to reach that level, maybe to give his limbs to others, to give his eyes to others, to sacrifice his family, like offering the beloved ones to ones who are in need of that. So giving up a kingdom in order to become an ascetic. So these kind of sacrifices, these kind of tolerances, he just want to practice it in order to be a successful man in the end. So in the fourth approach, he respects the Dhamma. Dhamma means the practice. So now these are the 4 Pacchaya in order to become a destined Bodhisattva. Destined Bodhisattva is one of attainment, of whose attainment has been proclaimed by a Buddha, like Sumedha. In order to reach that level, these are the 4 Pacchaya, the initial 4 conditions. I'll repeat again. Seeing the Buddha performing miracles, listen to the story of the Buddha, listening to a Buddha preaching about his own qualities, or understanding the path towards the Buddhahood and being desirous to fulfill this path. So these are the 4 initial Pacchaya for Abhinihara. Abhinihara means for the good wholesome deed to become a destined Bodhisattva. Then comes the 4 Hetu. The great compassions come in the 4 Hetu, which I will explain now in the next session. So initially, it is nothing related with karuna. It is related to his own success.
Baik, jadi dari keempat Pacaya tadi kita bisa lihat bahwa Maha Karuna, Great Compassion, welas asih yang besar pada semua makhluk itu tidak datang di awal. Yang datang di awal justru adalah dia termotivasi dari dirinya sendiri untuk mencapai level kesuksesan tertentu. Misalnya dalam contoh Bante berikan, jika kita melihat seorang atlet atau seorang pengusaha atau seorang aktor atau apa yang melakukan menunjukkan kemampuannya yang begitu hebat sehingga dilihat oleh seluruh dunia, diakui kehebatannya oleh seluruh dunia, dan kita melihat itu dan kita melihat kemudian, wow, orang ini betul-betul yang terbaik di bidangnya. Saya ingin menjadi seperti dia. Nah, seperti itu. Jadi terinspirasi untuk menjadi seperti orang itu. Nah, yang mulia Buddha itu seorang sama Buddha itu tidak terkalahkan, tidak tersaingi, tidak terlampaui oleh para pertapa manapun. Nah, seperti misalnya ketika beliau membabarkan Abhidhamma di surga Tawatimsa dan kemudian turun ke bumi kembali dengan mempertunjukkan berbagai keajaiban. Pada saat itu dikisahkan banyak para manusia, para putujana yang belum tercerahkan itu kemudian mengagumi beliau dan wow, ini keren banget bisa seperti ini. Seandainya saya bisa menjadi seperti beliau. Nah, seperti itu. Jadi ketika kita melihat keagungan, melihat kemampuan, kesaktian daripada seorang sama Buddha, kita bisa terinspirasi seandainya saya bisa jadi seperti dia. Nah, seperti itu. Atau juga ketika kita membaca kisah-kisah yang luar biasa tentang yang mulia Buddha, kita bisa kemudian terinspirasi, tergerak untuk kemudian, wah, alangkah hebatnya jika saya bisa menjadi seperti beliau. Seperti itu. Demikian juga ketika kita mendengar langsung yang mulia Buddha membabarkan kualitas unggul daripada seorang sama Buddha. Menceritakan di sini bukan untuk membangga-banggakan dirinya ya gitu, tapi dengan kerendah hatian untuk menceritakan pencapaiannya dan apa yang bisa dicapai oleh para siswanya, seperti itu. Maka kita bisa terinspirasi, wah, seandainya saya bisa menjadi seperti beliau, seperti itu. 3 poin yang pertama ini dari melihat, mendengar, dan kemudian belajar dari paparan Dhamma yang mulia Buddha tentang kualitas agung seorang sama Buddha, ini keluar karena saya ingin menjadi seperti dia, gitu. Saya ingin mencontoh dia, gitu. Jadi tujuannya, objektifnya adalah endingnya itu yang menjadi objektif, gitu, seperti dia. Tetapi yang keempat, ketika kita mempelajari Dhamma, ketika kita menjunjung tinggi Dhamma, mempelajari keseluruhan Dhamma yang terlestarikan, bagi orang-orang tertentu, ini orang-orang tertentu, kadang ada orang-orang tertentu yang memang, saya ini hidup mau ngapain ya, misalnya seperti itu. Saya ingin hidup saya ini bermanfaat bagi dunia ini, tidak ingin sia-sia seperti ini. Nah, ketika dia melihat apa yang dilakukan seorang bodhisatta ketika dia mempelajari dan menjunjung tinggi Dhamma, maka kemudian dia terinspirasi, oh, saya ingin menghabiskan hidup saya, atau dengan kata lain, ini adalah cara yang indah untuk menghabiskan masa hidup saya, atau inilah cara yang membuat hidup saya tidak sia-sia. Nah, gitu. Jadi kalau yang keempat ini, bukan tujuan endingnya yang dipingin saya ingin menjadi seperti dia, tetapi dia ingin menapaki, dia ingin menikmati perjalanan, mengikuti jejak perjalanan daripada yang dilakukan oleh bodhisatta. Nah, seperti itu. Jadi, bahwa kehidupan yang seperti dilakukan oleh seorang bodhisatta itu adalah cara yang baik, cara yang indah untuk menghabiskan hidupnya. Dia terinspirasi misalnya ketika yang mulia seorang bodhisatta itu dengan santai melepas kekayaan, bahkan melepaskan kerajaan, kedudukan sebagai raja atau sebagai pangeran. Dia merasa, oh iya, ini adalah cara yang baik untuk menghabiskan hidup saya, atau merupakan cara yang terbaik untuk tidak menyia-nyiakan hidup saya. Nah, ini disebut sebagai 4 pacaya, sebab dekat atau sebab akar ya, bibit untuk bisa mencapai abinihara, atau adalah mencapai kepastian bahwa nanti kamu akan menjadi seorang Buddha, seperti itu.
Yeah. So then comes the 4 hetu for the Samma Sambuddhahood. So there are 4 hetu. We saw Upanissaya Sampada. First is Upanissaya Sampada. Second is Hitacharya, practicing benefits for the benefit of others. Sorry. Third is not getting afraid or giving up the practice due to the suffering that one encounters in samsara and fulfilling the Pāramī. And fourth is associating good friends, good Kalyana Mitta. So based on these hetu, now Pachayas were the reason for him to start the practice to become a Buddha. Now he develops, what he does is he keeps on doing good deeds, dana, sila, bhavana in Buddha Sasana. In many Samma Sambuddha Sasanas, he keeps on doing good and good deeds, endless deeds. So he develops a great meritorious character in him. He develops a meritorious character in him. So that is called Upanissaya, fulfilling good deeds, Pāramīs in the Buddha Sasanas. So then he becomes a special person during the samsara. Then he develops great compassion towards the being. Then he starts to see how beings are suffering, then how he could help them. Then naturally he develops the compassion towards others. He tries his best to alleviate the suffering of others. And he also thinks about how could I liberate them from this samsara, because in some lives he doesn't have an idea about Nibbana, because he's just a bodhisatta who has started his practice. But naturally he develops the compassionate mindset towards others. Especially when he gets the opportunity in a Buddha Sasana, he have developed these good qualities, doing good deeds and developing the compassion again and again. So he involves in doing good deeds throughout the samsara. So this is the place where he develops compassion. So he starts to look into the world, that how beings are suffering in this life and how would they suffer in the endless samsara, and what is the way out of this samsara? How do we stop this samsara? And how do I instruct others to get rid of this samsara? So he develops the compassion. First he develops lots of good merits, does good merits, and then develop the great compassion towards beings. Then another hetu is, one cannot become a Samma Sambuddha if he is afraid of samsara. Samsara is a dreadful place. If you listen to the suffering, the 31 realms, and even if you listen to the suffering of humans in the past, what were the punishments given by kings in the past, for instance? We feel, oh, am I going to face such a punishment in samsara if I'm going to remain in this? Like, think about being buried alive. Think about being made to stand on a wall till death. So these are and being burnt alive or boiled alive. These are the sufferings that we all would encounter in samsara if we remain here. Now, a person who wants to be a Buddha has to work so much time in samsara in countless lives. So surely he is going to face these kind of sufferings. There's no doubt about that. There's no argument in it. Now, when someone understands the suffering of samsara, automatically a normal person would feel, oh, I cannot do this. I'll just rather get out of this samsara. I cannot endure such suffering because of other beings. So that would be the natural way of thinking of us, most of us. But a bodhisattva he would not be able to reach the final task if he's afraid of samsara. If he's afraid of what a bodhisattva has to do in order to reach the Buddhahood. If you read the sacrifices he made as a bodhisattva, how can I do such a thing? So that is the initial thought that comes in ordinary beings. So he has to develop the mindset. It is not that the bodhisattva was always ready to face them. No, he should always, there were occasions that he was stepping back. There were many occasions that he had second thoughts because he is not destined yet. But he has to develop the mindset not to be afraid. Think about the final attainment, final achievement that he's going to make. And the impermanence of these suffering, these are temporal sufferings in terms of compared to the nibbana that he's going to get and the nibbana that he's going to offer the other beings. So when he has to change his mindset, third hetu is he should not be afraid of samsara. He should not be afraid of the practice of a bodhisattva. He should not get detached. Detached means like fully detached from the samsara and get out of samsara. So this is the third cause. I just want to add something from another tradition in the Tibetan tradition, because they wish to be a Buddha one day. Everyone wish to be a Buddha in their traditions. So I have heard in a Dhamma talk, that Tibetan Dhamma talk, actually I listened it from Dalai Lama, the Holiness, when I was traveling in India. It said that Pacceka Bodhisattvas and Savaka Bodhisattvas, it's a impediment, it's an obstacle for a Maha Bodhisattva to listen to associate Pacceka Bodhisattva and Savaka Bodhisattva very closely, because their mind could change. When you are always seeing the dangers of samsara and so forth, if they were encouraging the person to get rid of samsara, a mindset of a Samma Sambuddha Bodhisattva would change. So that made sense actually. That makes sense what the other tradition is saying. So anyway, he cannot be afraid of samsara. That is a very important factor. Then the fourth is associating good friends, wise friends, virtuous friends, Kalyana Mitta. So because this Bodhisattva has just started the practice, so he needs to grow, he needs to develop in many faculties in the spiritual path. So he needs the support of good friends. So with the help of good friends, he grows step by step. So likewise, he is now based on doing good merits, enormous merits, developing the great compassion towards the living beings, and not becoming afraid of the samsara, and finally associating very good friends. He develops gradually, and now he is going towards the Mahabhinihara.
Baik, jadi setelah mengembangkan 4 hacaya, 4 bibit, maka kemudian dia masuk kepada 4 akar, 4 hetu. Apa saja 4 hetu ini? Pertama adalah Upanisaya Sampada. Jadi dia menjadi seorang makhluk yang senantiasa melakukan kebajikan, senantiasa menjadikan melakukan kebajikan sebagai karakter hidupnya. Nah, seperti itu. Karena dia terus-menerus menjadikan berbuat bajik ini sebagai karakternya, maka dia tanpa lelah terus-terus melakukan dana sila bawana seperti itu. Karena itu udah jadi bagian dari karakternya. Ini menjadikan beliau sebagai makhluk yang spesial, makhluk yang istimewa. Karena di setiap kehidupannya, dari setiap apa yang dia lakukan, dia selalu memupuk benih-benih kebajikan di sana. Seperti itu. Dia memupuk benih-benih kebajikan di sana sampai tak terhingga, menjadi begitu besar sekali menumpuknya. Yang kedua adalah Maha Karuna. Maha Karuna atau Great Compassion atau kewelas asihan yang besar pada semua makhluk adalah ketika beliau memahami hakikat sejati daripada samsara ini, melihat bahaya daripada penderitaan di dalam samsara ini. Ketika beliau menyadari ini, maka beliau kemudian berusaha sebaik mungkin untuk bisa bebas dari samsara. Tetapi juga pada saat itu beliau melihat bahwa bukan hanya sendirian beliau itu menderita di dalam samsara ini, tetapi ada begitu banyak makhluk yang berkelana, mengembara, menderita di dalam samsara. Maka ulas asihnya muncul di situ. Saya ingin terbebas dari samsara ini karena samsara ini penuh dengan penderitaan. Tetapi pada saat yang sama, ini ada banyak makhluk yang juga menderita di dalam samsara. Maka disinilah ulas asih yang besar itu muncul kepada semua makhluk ini. Beliau memikirkan bagaimana caranya saya bisa membantu meringankan penderitaan mereka. Bagaimana saya dapat memberikan jalan keluar bagi diri saya dan juga kepada para makhluk-makhluk ini. Inilah Maha Karuna muncul di sini. Lalu yang ketiga, akar yang ketiga adalah beliau tidak takut, tidak memiliki rasa gentar, berani bayar harga yang harus dibayar untuk bisa mencapai tujuan akhirnya, yaitu apa? Menyelamatkan dirinya dari samsara dan juga sebanyak mungkin makhluk keluar daripada samsara. Ketika seorang itu kemudian takut, oh bagaimana kalau nanti saya menderita di dunia ini, nggak punya uang, nggak punya makan, nggak punya tempat tinggal. Ketika dia takut penderitaan itu, ketika dia misalnya takut bagaimana kalau saya dibunuh orang, bagaimana kalau saya dihukum oleh raja, dipenggal, dibakar, hidup-hidup, dikubur, hidup-hidup, tadi dibilang. Nah, ketika dia takut akan hal-hal seperti ini, ya dia nggak akan bisa, gitu ya, nggak akan mampu untuk membantu dirinya sendiri atau membantu orang lain, gitu. Mungkin dia kemudian berpikir ulang di sini, gitu. Bawa diri saya untuk keluar dari nibbana aja susah, apalagi harus menyelamatin orang lain. Udahlah, udah pikirin diri saya sendiri aja. Nah, di sini bisa terjadi switch. Tadinya dia mau jadi seorang sama Sambuddha, kemudian berubah menjadi udahlah, yang penting selamatin diri saya dulu aja, gitu. Nah, Bante mendengar dari pada saat Bante berada di India, mendengarkan khotbah dari saudara kita tradisi Tibetan ya, dari Dalai Lama, yang menceritakan bahwa ketika masih belum mendapatkan abhinihara, belum mendapatkan kepastian bahwa dia akan menjadi seorang sama Sambuddha, calon bodhisatta ini masih bisa galau, kemudian akhirnya memilih jalur sawaka, menjadi seorang sawaka, jalur kearahatan, atau menjadi seorang paceka Buddha. Kenapa? Karena batinnya bisa gentar seperti tadi, gitu ya, masih bisa gentar seperti tadi. Bawa diri aja susah, gimana nyelamatin banyak makhluk, gitu ya. Nah, ini menurut Bante ini ada bisa make sense juga di sini, masih bisa diterima. Memang seperti itu, ada kemungkinan bisa bergalau pada saat belum mendapatkan abhinihara tadi. Yang keempat adalah berasosiasi, berkumpul bersama orang-orang yang baik dan bijak. Ketika beliau ingin menjadi seorang sama Sambuddha dengan perjalanan yang penuh tantangan seperti tadi, maka beliau calon bodhisatta ini perlu banyak mengembangkan dirinya dalam berbagai hal, dalam berbagai fakultas, ya kan? Maka akan sangat amat membantu apabila beliau ini disupport oleh teman-teman yang memang bijak, yang memang bajik, yang bisa mendukung proses pengembangan batinnya dan perjalanannya yang menantang ini. Baik.
So now, because of these, Pachya and Hetu. He develops 4 other bala. There are a few things that extra things that we need to discuss if we go in detail, but I'll skip them. There are 4 balas, that powers that he developed within himself. Because in himself, he likes to do good things. He respects the Dhamma. He respects what should be done, like practicing Sila, Samadhi and Panya. And he keeps on doing good deeds. That is called Ajjatika Bala. That is a power in him to be a good person and to be the Buddha one day. So his mind now starts to incline towards the Buddhahood. So he's practicing good deeds as much as possible in order to be a Buddha, because he wants himself to upgrade to this level. That is the Ajjatika Bala. Bahira Bala, he sees the benefits of being a Buddha, how much great benefits that he can give to the other world, to the other beings. So in order to liberate the others, for the sake of others, he doesn't give up this. So he remains in this Buddhahood, and he starts to like this Buddha state because of others, in order to liberate others. First, Ajjatika Bala is because he likes to be such a person. Second, Bahira Bala, he wants to be a Buddha in order to liberate others. Then comes Upanisaya Bala. Upanisaya Bala means a strength that within himself. Actually, these are mainly the forces that takes him towards the Buddhahood and makes him unshaken in the path. Now he has practiced. Now think that from the initial stage, now he has been practicing throughout the samsara, great compassion, doing great merits, associating good friends, and he had developed lots of good qualities in samsara. Therefore, naturally his mind inclines towards this Buddhahood. That is called Upanisaya Bala. With the power of his past practice, he likes to be a Buddha. Then Payoga Bala. Payoga Bala means he has a very strong determination, strong effort that he would one day reach this final destination. Based on these 4 powers, Ajjatika Bala, Bahira Bala, Upanisaya Bala and Payoga Bala, he walks on this path, and while he is walking, at a certain moment when the 8 conditions come together, meeting a Buddha, he wishes to be a Buddha one day again. He has been practicing merits in order to be a Buddha one day, but he does it again in front of a Buddha on a special occasion. And 8 factors come together. That is the moment he becomes destined to be a Buddha. So that is called Mahabhinihara.
Baik, dengan memiliki 4 akar tadi, beliau kemudian mengembangkan 4 bala, 4 kekuatan. Apa saja? Yaitu pertama adalah Ajjatika Bala. Jadi beliau mengembangkan kekuatan untuk menjadi orang yang baik gitu ya. Jadi punya kekuatan untuk menghalau godaan-godaan menuju ke arah yang tidak baik, seperti itu. Jadi dia memiliki kekuatan untuk senantiasa teguh menjadi orang yang baik walaupun banyak godaan, banyak rintangan. Dia juga memiliki kekuatan untuk bertekad melakukan banyak kebajikan sebanyak mungkin, sebanyak-banyaknya, untuk mengupgrade kualitas dirinya, mengembangkan kualitas batinnya. Ini Ajjatika Bala. Yang kedua adalah Baya Bala ya, nanti if I don't get wrong, Baya Bala. The second one is Baya Bala. Oke.
Bahira.
Bahira, sorry. Bahira Bala. Ya, ini adalah kekuatan untuk memiliki senantiasa bertekad untuk menuju pada kebaikan makhluk lain, untuk pembebasan makhluk lain, seperti itu. Jadi dia bertekad teguh di situ, memiliki kekuatan di situ, dan dia teguh di jalan ini. Yang ketiga adalah Upanisaya Bala. Ini adalah kekuatan yang membuatnya tidak tergoyahkan di jalan ini, gitu ya, tidak tergoyahkan di jalan ini. Ini disebabkan karena 4 akar tadi itu sudah berkembang cukup kuat, mengakar gitu ya, sehingga batinnya kemudian senantiasa condong ke arah jalur kebudahan. Jadi banyak jalan lain, tetapi dia condongnya ke sini, yang lain rasanya nggak cocok, maunya yang ini, seperti itu. Yang keempat adalah payoga bala. Ini adalah determinasi yang kuat, yang sangat teguh sekali untuk mencapai kebudahan. Nah, dengan 4 kekuatan inilah beliau menjalani jalur bodhisatta ini. Sampai nantinya ketika bertemu dengan 8 faktor di hadapan seorang sama Sambuddha, maka disitulah terjadi Maha Abhinihara. Diberikan kepastian bahwa beliau akan menjadi seorang sama Sambuddha.
Right. So then we'll conclude about the Samma Sambuddhas with this explanation of Bodhisattvas, because we have to explain 2 other Bodhisattvas as well, how the mindset should be. So now when he has have these all 4 Paccaya, 4 Hetu and 4 Bala, there is a special, in a one special life, 8 factors come together. This gathering of 8 factors is very special, and that is, on one occasion he will be born as a human being, right? Because during that initial stages he may be born as humans or animals, and maybe a man or a woman, a eunuch, various ways of life. He may get some wrong views. So it's not a destined journey. He's trying to be a Buddha, he's trying to follow the Bodhisattva's path, but his ups and downs are there. Now in a one special life, he is born as a human being and as a man, because now from that way, that day onwards, now he's going to be completely dedicate himself to be a Buddha, and it can only be achieved by a man, because it's a lot of tolerance should be there, a lot of effort should be there, which can only be done a man. So therefore he's a human in one life and also a man. Then he gives up household life, sensual pleasures, and become a monk or a ascetic in a righteous sasana, in a sasana where kamma vipaka is accepted. Then there also he practices well and attains jhana abhinya. Jhanas and abhinyas, is able to perform psychic powers and also able to see the world with his divine eyes and all. So then he has jhana, then he has suppressed the defilements. With the practice that he has been doing, now he has a upanisaya, now he has enough parami to become an arahant. He has enough parami to become an arahant. More than enough paramis. So the 5 factors. He's a human, he's a man, he has ordained himself, he has gone forth, he has given up the household life. Then he has attained jhana abhinyas, having suppressed the defilements. Now he has the upanisaya, the enough qualifications to become an arahant. Then he meets a Buddha, Samma Sambuddha. He sees a Samma Sambuddha with his eyes face to face. Then he does a great merit, such as sacrificing his life or doing a great type of a merit that is not an ordinary merit, like what Sumedha did. He sacrificed his entire body to the Buddha and Sangha. It is called adhikara. Adhikara is the word, like he does a great merit. Then chanda, he has a desire now. Because then the thought comes, seeing the Buddha with this first when the first 6 factors are there, a thought comes that I want to be a Buddha one day. Now he's a man, he's a human, he's a man, he's an ascetic, and attained jhana abhinyas. Now seeing and he has the upanisaya, the paramis to be an arahant, and he sees the Buddha. Now a desire comes, I want to be such a person one day. I want to be a Buddha one day. The thought comes. Now with that thought, he does a great merit, adhikara, the 7th factor. Thought to become Buddha is not a factor, right? The factors are human, man, ascetic, having jhana abhinyas, having the paramis to become an arahant, seeing the Buddha. Then he does a merit, great merit, with the desire to be a Buddha. And he has a strong will, chanda, that I will never give up this. And whatever it is necessary, I will achieve this. Even I am supposed to swim from one end of the world to the other, I will do it if it is what is required to be a Buddha. If I am supposed to die in the hell, burn in the hell for eons, and only coming out of the hell I will be a Buddha, if I am ready for that. That kind of a great will, chanda, arises in him. So when these 8 factors come together, and he does the merit with the desire of becoming a Buddha with the wish that I may be a Buddha by this merit one day, which he has been doing in the samsara in many lives, but now this is a special occasion. At that time, the chitta arises. He does the kusala, sacrifice, with a merit, with a desire to be a Buddha one day. That chitta, that karma is called, that chitta is called abhinihara chitta. Abhinihara chitta. Abhinihara chitta together with 8 factors. 8 factors. This chitta, if such a chitta arises in a mind stream of any person, a chitta with 8 factors, that santana, that namarupa process would surely one day reach the level of a Samma Sambuddhahood. So that is the moment he becomes destined to be a Buddha. He himself even cannot go out now. He will surely be a Buddha one day. So his mind has been developed to that level. And that is the moment a Buddha would say, this man in front of me would be a Buddha in future. That is called becoming destined. That is the abhinihara kusala. So till that, look at the journey till that. After that, it's fulfilling 10 paramis in a very maximum level, in a level that is unthinkable by ordinary beings like us. So now think the mindset. The initial thought came with a desire to upgrade, like become a great person. It's a self-desire. But later on, he developed it into the compassion. So the mindset of a bodhisattva is to attain nirvana, not alone, but also by liberating others. So if someone wishes to be this person, that is the desire of different beings. We cannot ask everyone to be an arahant. So that is a personal desire. So if someone desires to be a Samma Sambuddha one day, so the mindset one should have is, should like the attainment to get rid of Nibbana, attain Nibbana by getting rid of Sansara, to attain Nibbana by getting rid of Sansara, with the intention of liberating many beings as much as possible. So that should be the mindset, and that has to be developed gradually. It doesn't appear naturally. Maybe some who are listening or who will be listening this talk have a desire to be a Buddha one day. So that is now he should develop these compassionate thoughts. He should do merits as much as possible. So slowly he or she will be able to develop the mindset to such a level. And one day he'll be destined to be a Buddha if he or she is successful.
Baik, setelah memiliki tadi 4 pacaya, lalu mengembangkan 4 hetu, dan juga teguh dalam 4 bala, maka bodhisatta ini akan berjalan di dalam samsara kehidupan. Dia akan mengalami naik turun, kadang lahir di alam bahagia, kadang tidak alam bahagia, kadang ingat tujuannya, kadang tidak ingat tujuannya, seperti naik turun. Tetapi pada satu momen yang sangat spesial, dalam satu momen kehidupan yang sangat spesial, 8 faktor yang mendukung itu tiba-tiba hadir bersamaan di sana. 8 faktor yang mendukung hadir bersamaan di sana. Pertama, dia terlahir sebagai seorang manusia. Satu. Kedua, terlahir sebagai atau hidup sebagai seorang laki-laki. Yang ketiga, beliau meninggalkan kehidupan berumah tangga dan kemudian menjadi seorang pertapa. Yang keempat, beliau berpraktek baik dan mencapai level jana dan abinya. Jadi memiliki meditasi yang dalam sampai level jana, mampu menekan kekotoran batin, rintangan-rintangan batin, dan kemudian mencapai jana, memiliki abinya, memiliki kesaktian supranatural. Itu yang keempat. Yang kelima, beliau sudah memiliki kualitas parami yang cukup untuk menjadi seorang arahat. Itu yang kelima. Nah, dengan dukungan 5 tadi sudah ada, lalu muncullah kondisi spesial lagi yang keenam. Beliau bertemu langsung face to face dengan seorang Sama Sambuddha. Seperti misalnya Pertapa Sumedha bertemu dengan Yang Mulia Buddha di Pangkara. Yang ketujuh, beliau melakukan kebajikan yang besar kepada seorang Sama Sambuddha dan kepada Buddha Sasana. Misalnya seperti Pertapa Sumedha memberikan tubuhnya kepada Yang Mulia Buddha pada saat itu. Jadi melakukan suatu kebajikan yang besar sekali kepada seorang Sama Sambuddha dan Buddha Sasana. Pada saat momen 7 tadi terpenuhi, maka kemudian yang ke-8, yaitu muncullah canda. Saya ingin menjadi seperti beliau. Saya ingin menjadi seorang Sama Sambuddha. Nah, canda ini kemudian karena ditopang oleh faktor-faktor kebajikannya yang panjang tadi, itu berkembang bukan menjadi sekedar canda, tapi menjadi adhikara. Artinya apa? Saya tidak akan melepaskan tekad ini. Bahkan walaupun misalnya saya harus mati dan kemudian terbakar di neraka berkalpa-kalpa, asal saya harus jalani itu cuma agar saya bisa berhasil jadi seorang Sama Sambuddha, dengan senang hati akan saya jalani. Apapun harganya akan saya bayar asal saya bisa mencapai tujuan saya seperti tadi. Ya, seperti itu. Nah, cita yang muncul di sini atau pikiran batin, kondisi batin yang muncul pada saat ini disebut sebagai abhinihara cita yang ditopang oleh 8 faktor. Jika cita ini muncul, maka nama rupa yang pada saat itu memunculkan cita abhinihara cita ini pastilah suatu saat akan menjadi seorang Sama Sambuddha. Maka karena pada saat itu sedang face to face dengan seorang Sama Sambuddha juga pada kondisi itu, Sama Sambuddha pada waktu itu akan mampu melihat kondisi ini dan kemudian memberikan abhinihara, memberikan jaminan atau memberikan destinasinya, ramalannya. Orang yang ada di hadapan saya ini suatu saat pasti akan menjadi seorang Sama Sambuddha seperti itu. Maka kita bisa melihat bahwa jika Bapak Ibu ada yang mendengarkan Dhamma Talk ini dan kemudian mungkin bertekad ingin menjadi seorang bodhisatta, maka mindset-nya di sini yang kita perlu tahu adalah seorang Sama Sambuddha atau seorang bodhisatta yang ingin bertekad jadi Sama Sambuddha. Ini dimulai awalnya perjalanannya adalah dari self desire. Saya ingin menjadi seperti dia. Nah, seperti itu. Tetapi kemudian nggak cukup sampai sini. Ini harus di-upgrade menjadi compassion, menjadi mahakaruna. Ya. Saya tidak ingin mencapai pencerahan ini sendirian saja, tetapi saya ingin meraihnya bersama dengan orang-orang lain. Maka Bante bilang bahwa di sini, jika Bapak Ibu memang ingin menjadi seorang Sama Sambuddha, menjadi seorang bodhisatta, ini yang harus dikembangkan, compassion ini yang harus dikembangkan. Bapak Ibu perlu melakukan kebaikan sebanyak mungkin yang Bapak Ibu bisa lakukan, dan kemudian dengan tekad yang kuat tadi ditambah dengan tunjangan kebajikan yang banyak tadi, suatu saat tentu Bapak Ibu, baik laki-laki atau perempuan, suatu saat bisa menjadi seorang Sama Sambuddha. Baik.
Right. So now we move on to the mindset of a Pacceka Buddha Bodhisattva. So one can, it's another topic that needs to be discussed in detail, but we'll try to handle it as much as possible. Now, we know that Pacceka Buddhas attain by themselves, but they do not preach the path. They do not preach the vipassana. They are not capable of making other beings to liberate. And we know their practice, their time of practice is much, much longer than any arahant, even longer than that of a great chief disciple, Sariputta Moggallana. And practicing for such a long period, now Sama Sambuddha's practice we can appreciate or accept because he takes such a long period. It's not only for him, but also for others. But a Pacceka Buddha is liberating only himself, while he could have done it in a shorter period as an arahant. Why he is making such a great effort of spending long time in samsara, fulfilling paramis, in just to liberate himself, while he could have done it being an arahant? This is the obvious question. And that's why some people even don't think about Pacceka Buddhahood. Right? Ones who have compassion would think about being a Sama Sambuddha. Ones who think that the samsara is suffering would think about becoming arahant. But actually, Pacceka Buddhas, why someone wants to be a Pacceka Buddha is to get rid of samsara as much quick as possible. That is the reason. Why is that? think about Savakas. Savakas, Arahants. Arahants do fulfill their paramis. So there are many who could fulfill the paramis, but still they have to wait in samsara till the appearance of a Sammasambuddha. Till the appearance of a Sammasambuddha. They are suitable for enlightenment. Now think about the Mahadana Setti. He had the capacity to be an Arahant and he missed the opportunity, and now he is born in the hells. He comes up. Now he has to wait till to meet another Buddha. It's not that he wait till another Buddha, he has to meet another Buddha. And also we know in samsara there are many sun eons that passes by without any Sammasambuddha. According to the literature, after Buddha Dipankara, a Sammasambuddha appeared after one asankhya of eons, Mahakappa, and that was Kondanya, Buddha Kondanya. And he was alone. He didn't have any other Buddhas in his eon, any others. And after his passing away, another asankhya of kappas were empty of Buddhas. Then appeared Mangala Buddha. So Dipankara and Mangala, in between these two, there were two asankhayas and just one Buddha. And this is a phenomenon that can happen in samsara. Because we cannot determine the number of Buddhas, it is determined based on how much successful the bodhisattvas are. It's not about the number of bodhisattvas, how successful they are. So unfortunately, there can be occasions where bodhisattvas are not very successful. And there can be eons, thousands of millions of billions of eons without any Buddha. So a Savaka wishing to attain, there is a possibility that he may fulfill his Pāramī, but he has to still linger in samsara. And imagine now, someone starts the practice in the Dipankara's Buddha's sasana, or maybe Deep Tanhankara, Medankara, or whatever, and he couldn't attain in Dipankara Buddha's time, but he was almost mature, his Pāramī was almost mature, and he has completed it in another few eons. Now he has to wait in samsara till the Kondanya Buddha appears. Imagine, being in samsara, anything could happen by us. So he commits matricide or patricide or do a very bad, heinous, bad deed. And he is born in the hells while the Kondanya Buddha was there. When he comes out, the Buddha has passed away, sasana is gone. Imagine, this is a scenario that is possible. Now he has to wait another asankhya of kappas till the Mangala Buddha appears. So some beings see this danger in samsara. This is a danger of Savakas. Unless the Savaka is destined to be someone in a specific Buddha sasana like Kondanya, Moggallana and all these, there is a very high possibility that he may lose this opportunity. So seeing this danger in samsara, some great people think, no. Waiting till a Buddha to appear for the liberation is a weakness. It means the being is unable to understand the Four Noble Truths by himself. That is a weakness of his wisdom. I don't want to be such a weak person. I want to get liberated by myself, my own strength. I don't want to depend on a Buddha. It is not disrespecting the Buddha. He gets the support of a Buddha in Buddha Sasana, but he thinks of developing his wisdom to a level that I'll be able to understand the Four Noble Truths by myself without any help. Whenever my Pāramī is fulfilled, I'll liberate from this samsara. That is the thought of a Pacceka Buddha Bodhisattva. Right? So, beings wish to become Pacceka Buddhas in order to get rid of samsara as soon as possible. As soon as possible. And there's another point with related to Pacceka Buddhas. It is not that everyone who practices to be a Pacceka Buddha get liberated by themselves. Sometimes, before they are destined, because after starting the Pacceka Buddhahood path, there is a time they become destined. Before they become destined to become a Pacceka Buddha, they may encounter Buddha sasanas, and sometimes they may get liberated as Arahants. That is possible. Because their intention is to get rid of samsara as soon as possible. So it is not that every Pacceka Bodhisattva is going to attain by himself. If he Now, his desire is to get rid of samsara as soon as possible, right? So, it is not necessary for him to do it by himself. If he gets the support of a Buddha, he does it with the help of Buddha and get liberated. It's nice. He's very lucky. If he is unable to do that, he will do it by himself. That is the desire of Pacceka Buddha. Why did I say so? If you look into Samanya Pala Sutta, Buddha said, if Ajata Sattu had not killed his father, he'll be a Sotapanna. Then after he left, the commentators explained, Buddha said, now he will be a Pacceka Buddha in such era. So he has been practicing to be a Pacceka Buddha for a longer period, but he was not destined to be that. Now, so if he had not killed his father, he would have been a Sotapanna and become an Arahant soon and end the samsara. But since he killed his father, he couldn't attain the Pacceka Buddha, Sotapannahood. Now, since he has practiced to be a Pacceka Buddha, he will end the samsara as a Pacceka Buddha. So likewise, Pacceka Buddhahood is a very safe path, but it is a hard path. One has to practice paramis in a very, very higher level, because he has to develop the capacity to a level that he will understand the Four Noble Truths and eradicates the defilements by himself. So that is the mindset of a person who wishes to be a Pacceka Buddha. That I would not wait till a Buddha appears, I will attain by myself and I will develop my faculties to a level that I will be able to understand this reality by myself without the help of anyone. So that is the mindset of a Pacceka Bodhisattva.
Yang kedua, kita sudah mempelajari cukup banyak tadi tentang mindset daripada seorang bodhisatta yang ingin mencapai seorang sama Sang Buddha. Sekarang kita akan dijelaskan tentang mindset daripada seorang bodhisatta yang ingin menjadi seorang Pacceka Buddha. Seorang Pacceka Buddha memiliki mindset dia ingin mencapai pembebasan dengan dirinya sendiri. Kita tahu bahwa seorang Pacceka Buddha itu tidak memberikan pelajaran atau khotbah yang membuat makhluk lain terbebaskan. Tetapi kita juga tahu bahwa lamanya latihan mereka itu jauh melebihi para siswa Buddha, sawaka. Bahkan jauh melebihi latihannya daripada para siswa utama daripada Yang Mulia Buddha. Pertanyaannya, kalau gitu kenapa harus jadi seorang sama Sang Buddha kalau kayak begitu? Jadi seorang Pacceka Buddha, seorang yang beraspirasi menjadi Pacceka Buddha ini mindsetnya adalah saya ingin segera secepatnya keluar dari samsara. Nah, seorang arahat itu atau sawaka Buddha, seorang arahat sawaka Buddha itu memenuhi kebutuhan paraminya sampai level tertentu, tetapi kemudian harus menunggu adanya bimbingan daripada seorang sama Sang Buddha untuk membimbing beliau mencapai pencerahan. Seperti misalnya kasus Mahadana Sati, ya. Ketika beliau itu kelewatan, tidak bisa mencapai pencerahan di satu era Buddha tertentu dan kemudian terlahir di neraka, maka beliau harus menunggu lagi Buddha sasana berikutnya. Gitu. Dan kita juga tahu tidak semua masa itu ada Buddhanya, ada seorang sama Sang Buddha di sana. Ada banyak kalpa-kalpa, bahkan asangkaya kalpa itu yang kosong, yang tidak ada sama Sang Buddhanya. Jadi bayangkan bila Bapak Ibu, misalnya contoh, belajar berlatih dhamma dengan luar biasa di era Buddha di Pangkara. Pāramī sudah hampir tercapai, tetapi usia sudah terlanjur berakhir. Tidak bisa mencapai kesucian, tidak bisa keluar dari samsara di era Yang Mulia Buddha di Pangkara. Maka kelewat kesempatan itu. Tetapi di kehidupan selanjutnya, atau satu kehidupan atau dua kehidupan selanjutnya, itu ternyata Pāramī Bapak Ibu mencukupi kemudian. Tetapi nggak ada Buddha di situ, gitu kan? Tidak ada Buddha di situ. Baru ada Buddha lagi itu panjang banget di era Yang Mulia Buddha Kondanya. Itu jaraknya adalah asangkaya kalpa, panjang sekali. Baru bisa ada kesempatan untuk bisa tercerahkan. Parami udah cukup. Ternyata begitu lagi zamannya Buddha kondanya, Bapak Ibu sedang ada di neraka. Kelewat lagi kesempatannya. Nggak bisa lagi belajar pada era itu karena sedang posisinya di neraka. Karena selama samsara apapun bisa terjadi. Maka kesempatan Bapak Ibu itu nanti kelewat lagi berapa asangkaya kalpa lagi. Sampai nanti di eranya yang mulia Manggala Buddha baru ada kesempatan. Kalau kesempatan itu bisa terkondisi untuk diraih. Maka dalam hal ini kemungkinan gagal mencapai pencerahan karena kurang beruntung itu bisa terjadi. Bisa terjadi. Maka seorang yang bertekad jadi sama Buddha melihat bahayanya ini. Wah, ini bahaya banget nih. Kalau cuma harus nunggu-nunggu seperti ini. Maka menunggu dianggap sebagai satu kelemahan. Saya tidak mau nunggu. Saya tidak mau bergantung pada nanti tunggu nasib baik kalau ketemu Buddha Sasana. Saya tidak mau seperti ini. Saya ingin mempelajari kesunyataan mulia ini sendiri. Saya ingin mengembangkan batin saya sendiri. Saya ingin bisa segera keluar dari samsara secepat-cepatnya, tidak bergantung pada kondisi-kondisi ini. Nah, tentunya tidak berarti ketika Bapak Ibu mengembangkan tekad seperti ini, kemudian pasti mencapai pembebasannya sendiri. Enggak juga. Ketika walaupun Bapak Ibu mengembangkan tekad seperti ini, tetapi kemudian nasib baik bertemu dengan Buddha Sasana, maka Bapak Ibu bisa terbebaskan menjadi seorang sawaka Buddha. Enggak ada masalahnya seperti di situ. Seperti misalnya contohnya dalam Samanapala Sutta. Ketika Raja Ajata I dikatakan oleh Yang Mulia Buddha, orang ini, raja ini seharusnya bisa menjadi seorang Sotapanna, tetapi sayang karena melakukan karma buruk yang berat membunuh ayahnya, maka dia nggak akan bisa jadi Sotapanna, gagal, kelewat kesempatannya di Buddha Sasana saya. Tetapi nanti beliau akan terkondisi menjadi seorang Paceka Buddha. Jadi Bante bilang Paceka Buddha adalah jalan yang aman, tetapi ini sangat keras sekali, karena Bapak Ibu harus memahami 4 kesunyataan mulia sendiri, mengembangkan batin sendiri, mencapai pembebasan sendiri, gitu ya. Karena mindsetnya adalah saya nggak mau menunggu, saya nggak mau, saya cuma mau mengembangkan diri saya sendiri dan mencapai ini secepat-cepatnya. Seperti itu. Baik.
Right. So in order to be an arahant, that most of beings who desire to be arahant or get rid of samsara as soon as possible, one should develop the mindset of seeing the dangers of samsara. So that is the thought that he should develop. Like, I'll get the support of a Sammasambuddha. I wish to meet the sasana if we are unable to attain in this very life, and do merits as much as possible that is conducive to the attainment, and develop these qualities. So a person who wishes to be an arahant one day, but there can be differences. One who wants to be a chief disciple or a great disciple, then there should be some other additional determinations of their person. I'm not going to go into detail because the time doesn't allow us. So the person who wishes to be an arahant always should consider the dangers of samsara and the benefits of nirvana. So there is no necessity of considering that I'll be able to do it by myself. And in order to be safe, always wish to meet the Buddha Sasana, not to miss the Buddha Sasanas. Right? So that is a very vital point. So therefore, a person who wishes to be an arahant tries to have a mindset, should develop a mindset of seeing the dangers of samsara and seeing the benefits of nirvana. And also talks about it, propagates this, and do merits as much as possible that would be conducive to his own attainment. So he should listen to Dhamma, and also in that very life, whenever he has the opportunity, especially in this life, they should try as much as possible. Whenever opportunity, go for meditation, retreats, listen to Dhamma, practice as much as possible, and try to keep a balance in life, and that should be the mindset of a person who wishes to be an arahant. So there's nothing much to do like a Sammasambuddha or a Pacceka Buddha's practice in order to be an arahant, but always incline the mind towards the attainment, at least to be a Sotapanna in this very life or in a sooner life. So that is the vital aspect of Savaka Buddha, Savakahood.
Jadi yang ketiga adalah untuk seorang sawaka Buddha atau seorang arahat ya. Ini nggak sebanyak yang harus dilakukan atau yang harus dijelaskan terkait seperti seorang sama Buddha atau paceka Buddha. Untuk jalur sawaka Buddha atau arahat, maka yang perlu dilakukan oleh Bapak Ibu hanyalah memahami dua hal. Pertama adalah bahaya daripada samsara, dan kedua adalah manfaat pencapaian nibbana. Maka mindset daripada seorang sawaka Buddha adalah tidak melewatkan kesempatan untuk bertemu dengan Buddha Sasana. Seperti itu, tidak melewatkan kesempatan untuk bertemu Buddha Sasana. Apalagi kalau udah ketemu, kan seperti itu. Maka yang dilakukan adalah Bapak Ibu mempelajari, memahami, mempropagasikan, mengembangkan pemahaman Bapak Ibu tentang bahaya daripada samsara dan manfaat mencapai nibbana. Dari titik poin itu Bapak Ibu kemudian mengembangkan, memahami pentingnya berada dalam Buddha Sasana. Ini adalah mindset daripada sawaka. Pentingnya Buddha Sasana. Betapa beruntungnya kita mengalami Buddha Sasana. Nah, seperti itu. Ketika Bapak Ibu memiliki dua hal ini, maka kemudian Bapak Ibu akan mengambil kesempatan, tidak menyia-nyiakan, tidak membuang waktu, tidak membuang-buang kesempatan, tetapi memanfaatkan setiap momen yang ada sebaik mungkin, karena Buddha Sasana ini bisa lenyap kapan aja, kan seperti itu. Kesempatan ini bisa hilang kapan aja. Bapak Ibu mengambil kesempatan sebaik-baiknya untuk mengembangkan batin Bapak Ibu, melakukan kebajikan sebaik banyak-banyaknya, melakukan apapun yang bisa Bapak Ibu lakukan dalam Buddha Sasana. Seperti itu. Baik.
Yeah, so I hope you had because time is up, so had an idea about the mindsets that we should develop in order to, related to the aspiration that we have. So I gave all three bodhis because there can be ones who are wishing to be a Samma Sambuddha or a Pacceka Buddha, while most are wishing to get rid of samsara as soon as possible, as savakas. So in order to be a comprehensive talk, I just touched on all these three aspects of having the mindset. So the next talk, I'll be talking about some other qualities that are necessary in order to fulfill the paramis. Then afterwards, we go into each and every parami in detail about such as dana, sila, and so forth. Yeah, so that will be the talk for today.
Jadi demikianlah, karena waktu juga membatasi, tetapi setidaknya pada kesempatan ini kita sudah memahami bahwa baik itu calon bodhisatta yang beraspirasi untuk menjadi Sama Sambuddha, menjadi Pacceka Buddha, atau menjadi Sawaka Buddha, poin dasarnya adalah sama, yaitu memahami bahaya daripada samsara dan manfaat daripada nibbana. Nah, di kesempatan berikutnya dalam kelas ini Bante akan lebih dalam lagi menjelaskan tentang kualitas-kualitas yang dibutuhkan untuk memenuhi atau memupuk parami, dan juga apa itu dana, sila, dan lain-lain.
Sadhu. Vandami Bante, my name is Patricia. I will guide the Q&A session tonight. Sahabat Damas, silakan bertanya langsung via Zoom dengan klik raise hand ataupun melalui kolom chat. Baik, pertanyaan yang pertama bisa tolong di-share slide. There's one question already from Brother Johan. Slide, please. With the bahasa first, Bante. So dari Brother Johan, pertanyaannya adalah, dengan kesulitan yang begitu amat sangat besar untuk beraspirasi menjadi Buddha, yang membutuhkan waktu yang amat sangat lama dan kemungkinan yang amat sangat sulit dalam menjalankan di dalam kehidupan samsara untuk mencapai aspirasi tersebut. Apakah masih memungkinkan untuk kita beraspirasi menjadi Buddha, atau lebih baik beraspirasi segera lepas dari samsara, walaupun tetap amat sangat sulit, akan tetapi masih dimungkinkan selama masih ada Buddha Sasana? Bante mohon arahannya. Oke, dalam bahasa Inggris, Yang slide-nya bisa nggak ya?
Baik, Bante from Brother Johan. After we know from this talk, there is great difficulties to aspire to become a Sama Sambuddha. Require very long time and very difficult possibilities in carrying out in samsara to achieve that aspiration. But is it still possible for us to aspire to become a Sama Sambuddha? Or is it better to aspire immediately to release from samsara? Because as we know, there is still Buddha Sasana.
Bante. Bante. Sahabat Dhamma, kami mohon maaf kemungkinan koneksi Bante sepertinya ada masalah, mungkin terputus ya. Kita menunggu sebentar ya. Maaf, sepertinya belum tersambung ya. Kita menunggu sebentar ya. Sahabat Dhamma, mungkin sebelum Bante tersambung kembali, jika ada yang ingin bertanya boleh langsung ketik di bagian chat ya. Nggak ada 3 pertanyaan. Oke, silakan ya. Maaf ya teman-teman, mohon sabar menunggu. Bante masih berusaha untuk bisa tersambung kembali. Bagi yang ingin mengajukan pertanyaan dapat mengetiknya di kolom chat sambil menunggu Bante. Mendami Bante. Okay, shall we continue? I think I couldn't hear Bante voice. Yeah. Now
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Now
now
okay?
okay. Yes,
Okay,
now
right. Please read the question again.
Okay, the question
In English, yeah.
Yeah, in English.
Will do, Bante.
Okay.
One moment.
I think there's a share screen already.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, already.
Yeah, so yeah, it depends on the person. So it's not a question like I feel like it's not easy for someone like us to answer this question. Like, is it okay? What is better? I would always encourage if people are suitable to become a Buddha, because obviously that is the best aspiration one can have. Because if more the Buddhas are there, more beings can get liberated. So I'm a person who encourages to this status. And if someone is wishing to be a Pacceka Buddha, I also encourages for that, because it's for the quick liberation, for the sake of one's own liberation. So, and if someone wishes to be Arahant, that I still encourages them, obviously, because because not everyone can achieve those highest two stages. So yes, it is possible, though it's very, very difficult to become an Arahant in this very life. It is possible as long as the Buddha Sasana is there. So in the end, choosing which aspiration is just a matter of self-preference. So we should be able to evaluate what are our capacities, possibilities and all, and should have a lot of patience and slowly walk on this path. That would be the ideal thing. So rather than me saying, because I'm not able to decide whether, for sometimes when we meet some people, when we associate some people, sometimes may get a feeling, oh, this person is capable of becoming Buddha. Maybe he's capable of becoming Buddha. So such thoughts may arise, but just to an open audience, I'll not be able to say which one is better. But all three have their benefits. All three have their, I would not say cons, but difficulties, the tasks. So it depends on the person, individual person in the end.
Jadi kembali secara singkat, tidak mudah bagi Bante untuk mengatakan jalur mana yang harus diambil seperti ini. Tentunya secara pribadi Bante ingin mengencourage ya, mendorong semua orang ya kalau bisa jadi sama-sama Buddha gitu kan ya. Karena lebih banyak Buddha, artinya lebih banyak makhluk yang bisa terbebaskan dari samsara. Ini kan idealnya seperti itu, gitu kan. Tetapi juga jika Bapak Ibu ingin mencapai terinspirasi untuk menjadi seorang paceka Buddha, ingin secepatnya sepintas-pintasnya untuk mencapai pembebasan, ini dengan dirinya sendiri tanpa menunggu seorang sama sang Buddha, ini pun juga suatu rute yang amat baik sekali. Demikian juga jika Bapak Ibu beraspirasi menjadi seorang arahat, menjadi seorang sawaka Buddha, tentunya ini juga sangat baik sekali karena tidak semua makhluk memiliki kapasitas untuk mencapai apa yang dicapai oleh dua tingkatan di atas, Samasa Buddha dan Paceka Buddha gitu ya. Beberapa orang memang butuh kondisi tertentu, butuh bimbingan, butuh guru gitu ya. Jadi enggak semuanya bisa gitu. Jadi ini kembali pada soal preferensi pribadi Bapak Ibu. Bapak Ibu harus menilai sendiri kapasitas saya sampai mana. Keberanian, keikhlasan saya sampai mana, apakah saya berani bayar harga, karena tiap rute ini kan ada harganya masing-masing gitu ya, dan kemudian dengan sabar, dengan tekun menjalani rute yang telah Bapak Ibu pilih gitu. Demikian mungkin bisa sampaikan.
Now next question is from Brother John Marley. Okay, the question is in bahasa first. Okay, dan bahasa Indonesia. Oh, okay, in English first from Brother John Marley. Wandami Bante, I want to ask about dana. When I do dana for me and parent, is it better for dana to be separate? This is dana from me and that is dana from my parent, and separate name or joint name to go together, then the dana we said is from me or my both parent. Which one is better, and do the karma better if separate or the same as joint? Sadu, sadu, sadu. Pertanyaannya adalah dalam bahasa Indonesianya, Wandami Bante, saya ingin bertanya mengenai dana. Apabila saya berdana untuk saya dan orang tua saya, apakah lebih baik dana itu dipisahkan? Misalnya dana itu dari saya, kemudian dana yang satu lagi dari orang tua saya, dan dipisahkan namanya, atau digabungkan, kemudian dana tersebut kita sebutkan sebagai dana dari saya dan kedua orang tua saya. Yang mana yang lebih bagus dan karma mana yang lebih baik, apakah dipisahkan atau digabungkan? Sadu, sadu, sadu.
So I have to clarify this question first. Now in the first sentence, when I do dana for me and parents, is it better for dana to be separate? So that this dana is from me and that is dana from my parents. So I'm confused, like, is it that the person is giving dana for the sake of my own benefit and to the for the welfare of parents, or to give merits to the dead past parents, or is it a dana that is given by my wealth and from the parents' wealth? So because I'm not clear about the question.
I think dana for maybe nowadays
when I say dana from my from parents, it means dana given by my own wealth and dana given by the wealth of parents, right?
Yeah, because sometimes we transfer. I think if I'm not,
I think
according in the meeting chat, the dana is from John Marley's wealth and give some in representing his parents. So it's let's say
okay,
$100 from John Marley pockets, and then dedicate that to John Marley and his parents, something like that.
Right. For example, you are giving a dana for your own benefit and also for the parents, right?
Benefit of parents.
For the parents. Okay.
Yes.
Or sometimes, like when we transfer dana, then we put it on the message, dana from me and my family.
That is like you are from means you are spending money, right?
Yes.
Right. So dana from me and it is dedicated to myself and the parents.
Yes,
right?
dedicated.
So, yeah, okay, right. So in these, both cases are possible. Even you dedicate a dana to the parents, still if it is given by you, you get the merit actually, right? So it's not that your dana is going to give merits to parents. Only thing, if they are diseased or passed away, we can share merits with them. If they are not in a position to get merit, for example, if they are born as humans, they are not going to get that merit. That's obvious. So, but still, another relative would still rejoice in this merit. So therefore, whether we separate or not, the benefits for the donor will be there. Whether you give it for the parents, or whether you give it for yourself, or whether you give it combined or separately, if it is from your wealth, there's nothing to worry. Your benefits will be there. The parents' benefits only if they rejoice in it. If they are alive, for example, if they are alive, that can have some effect to them, but in order to get merits, they have to rejoice and say sadhu sadhu. Right? So therefore, there's one such a thing, like if now I'm giving a dana for my own liberation and also for my parents, but in some occasions, like if they are really expecting merits as spirits, becoming spirits, if they are expecting merits, if you can fully dedicate it for the parents, that would make them more happy. Because then they will feel, oh, this entire dana is dedicated for us. So they get more and more happiness in that. So if you are giving a dana to parents, it's okay even if you give it combined, that's no problem, issue in that. But if you can separate this dana, I'm giving this dana for the sake of my parents, still you get the merits. No one can deny or prevent that. Then the parents, if the parents are waiting as spirits to observe merits, rejoiced merits, they will be very happy on that. So that would be my answer.
Baik, jadi dalam kasus ini menurut Bante mau dipisah atau digabung ya, dari sisi si pemberi, dari sisi donor itu tidak akan lari ya pahalanya gitu, istilahnya buah kebajikannya itu nggak akan kemana-mana, sama aja tetap dapat gitu ya, mau dipisah ataupun digabung. Yang membedakan adalah bagi si orang tua yang didedikasikan dana ini, mereka hanya akan memperoleh manfaat karma baiknya apabila mereka ikut bergembira atas kebajikan yang telah dilakukan oleh anaknya ini. Jadi ketika misalnya mereka melihat itu dan kemudian bersorak sadu, nah pada saat itu barulah dana yang didedikasikan itu tanda kutip ya nyampe gitu, tanda kutip nyampe gitu. Nah, tetapi jika orang tua yang didedikasikan ini sudah meninggal, nah ini agak sedikit complicated. Apabila mereka kemudian sudah terlahir lagi jadi manusia baru misalnya, ya dananya tidak akan mendapatkan manfaat gitu. Tetapi jika memang mereka saat itu sedang dalam posisi misalnya menjadi peta yang sedang membutuhkan pelimpahan jasa, ya manfaat bisa didapatkan oleh mereka seperti itu. Tetapi tadi yang Bante bilang sampaikan adalah ketika ini didedikasikan khusus kepada mereka, misalnya kita transfer $100 misalnya, kita dedikasikan seutuhnya atas nama orang tua misalnya gitu, 100%. $100 atas nama orang tua. Nah, kemudian maka mereka yang melihat itu akan jauh lebih berbahagia, kata Bante, akan jauh lebih bersyukur, lebih berbahagia, lebih happy. Sedangkan John Marley sebagai penyumbangnya itu tetap aja dapat manfaat sebetulnya, walaupun namanya di situ nama orang tua atau mendiangnya daripada John Marley seperti itu.
Okay, sadhu. Now, next question is from Sister Juliana. Okay. Do we have the slide? I'll read in English first. Vandami Bante, I want to ask about the word Pāramī. Is it included in Sutta Pitaka? Especially about 10 paramis to be fulfilled? so we can be liberated from samsara for candidate of sama sambuddha or sawaka Buddha. Wandami Bante, saya mau bertanya tentang kata parami. Apakah kata tersebut terdapat di sutta, terutama yang membahas soal 10 parami yang dipenuhi agar terbebas dari samsara, baik itu calon sama sambuddha ataupun sawaka Buddha?
Yeah, so the word Pāramī we can find especially in Charya Pitaka, which also includes in Sutta Pitaka. But I don't remember it seeing in any other Nikayas, for example, like Majjhima and all these. Maybe I have to check for that.
Buddha Wamsa, I think, Bante.
Buddha Wamsa, yeah, Buddha Wamsa, Charya Pitaka. So these books we have, but not in the Nikayas, right? Majjhima or something like that. I don't think that word is found there. So Apadana, yes, all these books we have this. In the Khuddaka Nikaya, we find this word Pāramī. So especially in the Khuddaka Nikaya, we find the word. And it is obviously in Charya Pitaka, Buddha said that he has practiced all the 10 Pāramīs. We can see it very clearly. And if someone asks the question, is it necessary to be for the Savakas? Yes, that's why we should keep in mind in the first lecture, I said Pāramī means the requirements for the attainment. So if someone is practicing listening to Dhamma and meditating, that is also fulfilling Pāramī. So rather than finding the word, like rather than going into the word like what is it really necessary, what we are doing is incorporate the word Pāramī into our practice. So our practice means Pāramī. It is not that something that we do delaying the attainment or something that we do so because of this Pāramī, this attainment comes up. No. The process of attainment itself is fulfilling Pāramī. Even the Sankarupekka Jnana is a fulfillment of Pāramī, Panya Pāramī. Getting jhana is a Pāramī, fulfillment Pāramī. So that's what Bodhisattva did in Sansara. And in the final life also, while we are practicing, when we get into the jhana for the vipassana, that is a fulfillment of Pāramī. So Pāramī is the practice that we need to get rid of samsara. The word is Pāramī. Para means nibbana, or para means the Maggajnana. Mi means that the practice that takes us to nibbana, or the practice that takes us to Maggajnana. So therefore, the word is found in Khuddaka Nikaya, but in the sutras, but we should think about it is like whoever wants to liberate has to fulfill Pāramī. It means he has to practice.
Jadi terkait dengan istilah Pāramī ini bisa ditemukan di Tipitaka, Sutta Pitaka di dalam Khuddaka Nikaya. Terutama beberapa kitab seperti Charya Pitaka, Apadana, dan juga Buddha Wamsa tadi saya tambahkan ya, sepertinya ada di Buddha Wamsa. Lalu apakah seorang sawaka itu juga membutuhkan Pāramī ini? Iya, tentu saja seperti sudah dijelaskan sebelumnya. Pāramī artinya requirement, jadi syarat-syarat kebutuhan untuk bisa mencapai pembebasan seperti itu. Syarat-syaratnya ini gitu. Jadi memupuk Pāramī itu bukan artinya tugas tambahan yang bisa kemudian menunda proses latihan Bapak Ibu menuju pembebasan gitu ya. Ya proses latihan yang Bapak Ibu lakukan itu, ya itulah proses memupuk Pāramī. Dana Sila Bawana itu memupuk Pāramī. Ketika Bapak Ibu misalnya mencapai Vipassana dan kemudian mencapai Sangkar Upeka Jnana misalnya. Nah itu memenuhi Pāramī, yaitu adalah Panya Pāramī. Ketika Bapak Ibu melatih Samadhi mencapai jana, yaitu memenuhi jana Pāramī, seperti itu. Kenapa? Karena para asal katanya itu adalah nibbana atau Maggajnana. Mi itu adalah aspek yang membawa kita atau latihan yang membawa kita, membawa kemana? Kepada nibbana atau kepada Maggajnana, seperti itu. Thank you, Bante.
Sadhu. Okay, next question, Bante, from Sister Supriyati. Wandami Bante Sukihotu, good evening. Please Bante advise who is the first Buddha's name according to Pali text. Bahasa Indonesianya, Wandami Bante Sukihoto, selamat malam. Mohon penjelasan Bante, siapakah Buddha yang pertama menurut teks Pali? Sincerely, Supriyati.
It's like a question asking whether the chicken or the egg. So because now if you ask about the samsara, what is the first life, for example, I need to explain a bit this in order to show that this question is not valid actually. But it is valid in one sense. If you ask the literature, who is the oldest Buddha mentioned in the literature, that is a different case. That's a different case. Who is the first Buddha in samsara? If someone asks the question, who is the first Buddha, then we have to understand there is no beginning in samsara. If there is, now first I'll come to that point. If there is a beginning in samsara, in terms of cause and effect, before going into cause and effect, I'll just show that Buddhism doesn't exist. Buddhism is not useful if there is a beginning in samsara, because if there is a beginning in samsara, two doctrines collapse, that is the doctrine of karma and doctrine of nibbana. Because the obvious question, if the beginning, there was no life before that, right? So it should be the first, there should be a first life. The obvious question is, what would be the first life? Would it be in a sugati or dugati? So if we say it's dugati, then we are born in dugati without akusala karma, right? If it was sugati, then we are born in a sugati without kusala karma. So if the first life was decided just randomly, what is the use of karma even at this moment? Right? Because there is a one life that we were born in dugati, actually the first life, without any karma. And if you are in a good life, that we were born in sugati without any kusala karma. So therefore the doctrine of karma would collapse if there is a first life. Then what happens is the doctrine of nibbana collapse, because now the first life has occurred. If there is a first life, it means it had to happen without a cause, right? It has to happen without a cause. There was no kilesa, there was no karma before that. It's out of nothing, it has come up. Now, we attain nibbana. Attainment of nibbana is getting rid of causes. When you get rid of the causes, you attain nirvana. That is a cessation of suffering to come. Anupanna nirodha, right? The cessation of the suffering to happen. So, what happens is, if the first life happened without a cause, how could you guarantee? Now, we cut off defilements in this life and become arahant and attain nibbana. Now it's done. Who can guarantee that the suffering would not happen again without causes? Because from the first place, the samsara, according to that, first place, the samsara has happened without a cause. So if there's a beginning in samsara, it has happened without a cause. So even we attain nirvana by removing the causes, how could we guarantee that after eons, 100,000 eons, the same namarupa, the process, the generation would still start again without a cause? So therefore, there cannot be a beginning in samsara. If there is a beginning, Buddhism would collapse. Right? So how could it logical? For that we need to go into the cause and effect, causality, and how to understand this. So I'm not going into that detail. Now, in the same way, the first Buddha, for example, if there is no beginning in samsara, now think about first Buddha. Okay, there was an endless, beginningless samsara, then there was one person who became the Buddha for the first time. So who inspired him to be such a person? Like we normally say, Paccayas, causes are like he first sees the Buddha, or he has a determination to be a Buddha. So the idea, the concept of Buddhahood should be there in the first place. So that's how one gets that determination. Okay, someone can argue, okay, without the Buddha, he would have thought about this liberation, and he was a very wise person, wise guy, the initial Buddha. Then what about the Abhinihara, the 8 factors? 8 factors are not there, because the first Buddha cannot meet another Buddha, right? He's going to be the first Buddha. So when did he become determined? So all these questions would come. So since if there is no beginning in samsara, we cannot say that this was the first Buddha, because we cannot assure that there was no Buddha before, unless that you have to see the beginningless samsara. So there is a possibility, like if you look into 16 eons and certain period of time, if there was no Buddhas, then one can argue that this could be the first Buddha. Anyway, so thing is that also, because Buddhahood is also a result of a cause. There are some causes. It's a build-up. So one of the vital factors in this path is meeting another Buddha. In order to be a Buddha, we have to meet another Buddha. In order to be a Buddha, we have to do merits in the Buddha Sasana. We have to have that thought, association with Buddhas. So therefore, it's like the beginning. So there cannot be a first Buddha according to the doctrine. Then the question came as, in our Theravada doctrine of the Gautama Buddha's Sasana, in Gautama's Sasana, the doctrine that we have today, who is the oldest Buddha mentioned in the doctrine? That is a question that we can answer. So in that sense, we see Dipankara was the first from whom our Bodhisattva got the proclamation. The commentators say there were 3 Buddhas before him, Tanhankara, Medhankara and Saranankara. Tanhankara, Medhankara, Saranankara. In the same eon, the 4th was Dipankara, and from him the Bodhisattva got the proclamation. And then we find some random names of Samma Sambuddhas who are not within the 24, the 28, starting from Tanhankara till Gautama. Some Buddha, like the word Pussa, the Buddha Pussa is found. We are not talking about the Buddha Pussa who appeared within the 4 Asankheyas, but about a Buddha Pussa who appeared before that. There was a Buddha called Pussa. And then if you go into the Apadana of Yasodhara's life story, he mentioned that he and the Bodhisattva both met 2 ancient Buddhas called Purana Brahmadeva, Buddha Brahmadeva and Buddha Gautama, another Gautama Buddha. So these were the most ancient names that we find. And Yasodhara said that both of them and she had practiced in various sasanas, and that's how she became the wife of a Bodhisattva in this final life. So there were lots of Buddhas who had appeared. The most ancient that we find in our doctrine, to my knowledge, is Brahmadeva. But there is a book called Saddhamma Ratanakara in Sri Lanka, which was written in a later period. They talk about another Buddha before that who was called another Dipankara, another ancient Dipankara, not the Dipankara from whom our Bodhisattva got the proclamation. So these are the ancient Buddhas that we find within the commentary, text commentary and sub-commentaries. We find the ancient is Brahmadeva. And there is another book which was written at a later stage. We don't know what were the sources for this book. So it contains about another Dipankara who was before the Brahmadeva as well. So this is in literature wise, this is the answer. It was a long answer. Literature wise, this is the answer. But technically, in terms of the Dhamma, there cannot be the first Buddha.
Baik. Jadi terkait dengan pertanyaan ini, kita harus memilah apakah pertanyaannya siapakah Sama Sambuddha pertama atau siapakah Sama Sambuddha pertama yang tercatat di dalam literatur Theravada. Itu dulu harus dipisah. Untuk jika dimaksud adalah yang pertama, siapakah Sama Sambuddha yang paling pertama? Pertanyaannya seperti itu, maka ini tidak dapat dijawab atau tidak relevan malah untuk dipertanyakan. Kenapa? Karena ini akan berkaitan dengan satu topik, yaitu tentang sebab awal pertama. Di mana di dalam Buddhisme tidak dikenal yang namanya prima causa, sebab utama itu tidak dikenal, awal itu tidak dikenal. Kenapa? Kalau ada prima causa, maka ada 2 doktrin Buddhisme utama yang akan runtuh. Yang pertama adalah doktrin tentang karma, yang kedua adalah doktrin tentang nibbana. Kenapa begitu? Pertama, katakanlah kita bicara tentang kehidupan yang pertama. Jadi sebelumnya tidak ada kehidupan sama sekali, 0. Lalu kemudian muncul kehidupan yang pertama. Maka kehidupan yang pertama ini kemudian kita akan bertanya, Anda terlahir di alam menyenangkan atau alam tidak menyenangkan? Dugati atau sugati? Gitu. Misalnya Bu Patricia ya. Bu Patricia ini lahir di sugati atau dugati nih gitu. Waktu kehidupan pertama nih gitu. Sebagai manusia pertama atau kehidupan pertama, bukan manusia pertama, makhluk pertama. Tadinya nggak ada kehidupan sama sekali, kemudian Bu Patricia jadi makhluk pertama di situ. Dugati atau sugati? Gitu. Kalau kemudian lahir di alamnya dibilang saya terlahir di alam dugati, alam tidak bahagia, alam sengsara gitu ya. Berarti Ibu Patricia ini terlahir di alam dugati tanpa ada karma buruk sama sekali, karena tadinya kan nggak ada. Ujuk-ujuk nggak ada melakukan kejahatan apa-apa, masuk alam dugati, kan begitu. Kan? Kalau kemudian dijawab Ibu Patricia ini terlahir di alam sugati, alam-alam dewa, alam-alam yang menyenangkan, tanpa melakukan karma baik apapun, Ibu Patricia terlahir di alam dewa, terlahir di alam menyenangkan. Maka doktrin karma runtuh di situ. Karena nggak perlu ada sebab apa-apa. Ujuk-ujuk, mendadak, spontan, terlahir di situ. Kan begitu. Maka doktrin tentang karma runtuh di sana. Yang kedua, doktrin tentang nibbana. Sama seperti tadi argumennya. Ketika kehidupannya tadinya nol, tidak ada kehidupan, dan kemudian muncul kehidupan pertama Ibu Patricia tadi, misalnya, ya kan terjadi ujuk-ujuk tadi lagi kembali, tanpa ada sebab apapun, apa yang menjadi jaminan bahwa ketika seorang mencapai nibbana, Anda tidak akan terlahir lagi? Karena gini, nibbana dicapai dengan kita mencabut, menyingkirkan sebab-sebab yang memungkinkan seseorang terlahir kembali di dalam samsara, kan begitu ya? Maka kemudian bahaya, resiko kelahiran kembali itu akan padam. Ini disebut sebagai anuppana nirodha. Katakanlah Ibu Patricia sudah melakukan parami tadi. Semua sebab-sebab sudah disingkirkan, masuk dalam nibbana. Sedangkan kehidupan pertamanya tadi di awal terjadi dengan tiba-tiba, ujuk-ujuk tanpa sebab. Apa yang menjadi jaminan kalau setelah Ibu Patricia mencapai nibbana, tidak akan lagi ujuk-ujuk tiba-tiba tanpa sebab terlahir lagi di dalam samsara? Nah, itu sebabnya kalau itu terjadi, kalau ada prima causa, doktrin tentang nibbana itu juga akan runtuh. Itu dikatakan oleh Bante. Ya. Doktrin tentang nibbana itu akan runtuh. Jika kita mempertanyakan siapakah Buddha pertama? Siapakah Buddha pertama? Kembali nih, prima causa lagi. Siapakah Buddha pertama? Katakanlah sepanjang dari awal kehidupan tadi, dari Bu Patricia itu lahir sampai sini kan nggak ada Buddha tuh, gitu kan. Lalu kemudian tiba-tiba Bu Patricia menjadi seorang sama Sambuddha, sadhu gitu ya Bu Patricia, jadi sama Sambuddha gitu. Pertanyaannya, apa yang menginspirasi Ibu Patricia pada waktu itu menjadi seorang sama Sambuddha? Nggak ada konsep tentang seorang Buddha aja nggak ada pada waktu itu. Apa yang menginspirasi Ibu Patricia? Itu sulit. Yang kedua, siapa yang memberikan abhinihara kepada Ibu Patricia pada waktu itu? Memberikan kepastian bahwa ini loh, orang ini akan menjadi seorang sama Sambuddha. Karena dalam doktrin Theravada dikatakan bahwa untuk bisa seorang itu menjadi seorang Buddha itu kan akumulasi dari banyak faktor. Tadi kita udah belajar kan akumulasi dari banyak faktor. Salah satu faktor itu adalah bertemu dengan seorang sama Sambuddha sebelumnya. Nah, ini nggak ada sama Sambuddha sebelumnya kan gitu. Maka pertanyaan ini kalau ditanyakan siapakah sama Sambuddha pertama, ini tidak relevan. Ini sintak error gitu. Ini nggak bisa karena runtuh nanti doktrinalnya semua. Tetapi kalau yang ditanyakan adalah oke, gini, di dalam tradisi Theravada, di dalam kitab-kitab suci literatur Theravada, siapakah nama Buddha yang paling tua, yang tertera, yang kita tahu di sana? Ini bisa dijawab gitu ya. Karena dikatakan kita tahu bahwa Yang Mulia Sumedha itu memperoleh kepastian abhinihara daripada Yang Mulia Buddha di Pangkara. Nah, kemudian dijelaskan masih ada 3 Buddha sebelum Yang Mulia di Pangkara, Tanhankara, Medangkara, Sangkara gitu ya. Masih ada 3. Dan kemudian juga kita tahu list 28 Buddha, tetapi ada juga Buddha-Buddha lain yang di luar dari list itu. Betul ya, kalau kita teliti dalam literatur Theravada, seperti kita melihat bisa menemui nama sama Sambuddha Pusa misalnya. Itu nggak ada di list 28 itu, sama Sambuddha Pusa. Kalau kita masuk kepada teks Apadana, ya saudara Apadana, di situ disebutkan ada sebuah nama sama Sambuddha yang kuno, yaitu Brahma Dewa ya, Bante ya, Brahma Dewa. Ya, Brahma Dewa sama Sambuddha, di mana pada saat itu saudara mengingat kehidupan lampaunya dengan calon sekarang adalah Gautama Buddha, pada waktu itu berlatih bersama bertemu di Brahma Dewa Buddha Sasana pada saat itu. Ini adalah Buddha yang tua sekali gitu ya. Ini kita temukan. Itu kalau di dalam Tipitaka dan komentar. Tapi kalau kita baca ke kitab yang lebih baru lagi seperti Sadama Ratanakara gitu ya, ini agak muda gitu kitabnya, kita temukan lagi nama yaitu adalah Ancient Dipangkara. Jadi Dipangkara yang senior gitu, yang lebih tua lagi daripada Dipangkara yang ditemui oleh Pertapa Sumedha. Nah, kalau secara literatur mungkin Bante bilang kalau kita mau mengacu pada literatur yang klasik yang otoritasnya tinggi, maka yang bisa kita temukan, yang tertua yang kita temukan adalah Brahma Dewa sama Sang Buddha.
Sadu. Penjelasannya mantap. Makasih kok Brother Adi udah jadi saya sebagai contoh ya. Semoga yang kedua terakhir nih badan dan buddhanya jadi.
Sadu.
Okay, Bante. Now, Sister Cecilia would like to raise question. Silakan.
Sadu. Wandami Bante. I'll read my questions in Bahasa and have Brother Adiansyah help me translate. Baik, Brother Adiansyah, mohon diterjemahkan pertanyaan dari saya. Tadi ketika Bante menjelaskan tentang pelimpahan jasa itu ketika kita berbuat kebajikan gitu ya. Apakah ketika kita melakukan kebajikan dan kita melakukan pelimpahan jasa, terutama untuk pelimpahan jasa untuk makhluk peta yang di alam peta dan leluhur yang terlahir di alam peta, apakah mereka bisa mendapat manfaat jika hanya mereka berada di sekitar kita dan mengetahui kebajikan yang kita lakukan dan mereka turut berbahagia? Seperti misalnya kita kadang keluar kota gitu, berbuat baik dan kita melimpahkan jasa, apakah leluhur di alam peta yang jauh dari kita tidak akan bisa mendapat manfaat atau mereka bisa, dan jika bisa seberapa jauh jangkauannya untuk mereka bisa mendapatkan manfaat dari pelimpahan jasa? Terima kasih. Sadu.
Cecilia, perhaps you want to translate yourself? I believe you are able to do.
Okay, I'll try to translate it, Bante. My question is, if let's say we do a sharing merits, how far can our sharing merits reach, especially the Peta realm? Do they have to be near us and know the good karma that we have conducted, and when we share merits, then they are happy with it, that they could get the benefit? Or I'm just intrigued to know how far can our merits reach, like especially to the Peta realm. Thank you, Bante.
It means, for example, if Peta is in USA, you are giving merits in Indonesia, will it go there? Is something like that, right?
Yes.
First of all, we should know that sharing merit is not like sharing money from one bank account to another bank account. When you share merits from one bank account to another, you lose money and the increase is there. No, it's not like that. So sharing merit is like, if I share merit with any of the dead relatives, for example, if you think by my grandfather, who I loved very much, and so when I share my merits with him, so if he's in a place where he can get them, and now you specifically asked the question, if he's a life where he needs merit, right? According to the teachings, it's a Peta life, or it's one of the any life that is in need of merits. So now, what happens is, according to the Theravada teachings, right? According to the Theravada teachings, he is getting merits for his rejoicing, not because of my merit. So, if he doesn't rejoice, he doesn't get any merits. If he's unable to rejoice, he doesn't get any merits. So that's why being a human, being a Peta, being a Deva, being an animal, there's no opportunity that they rejoice on our merit, because humans doesn't know that their past relatives are doing merit. If I was a human in past life, maybe still some meritorious actions are going on. Maybe I may also participate in that action, but I don't know it's done for me, right? So that's why Buddha said, if he's born as a human, that he's not going to get that merit. Animal, nothing to say. devas, because devas, it's not that they are always looking at us. They have their own duties, they have their own pleasures. They seldom look at the human realm, because it's if you read the pleasures in the deva realm, they are fully indulged in the deva pleasures. So therefore, sometimes some teachers say it's a very dangerous place to go in that sense. Anyway, but it's better than being in an animal realm, obviously. And so devas do not observe us normally, and if they observe in 1-2 days, it's already 100-500 years have passed away. So therefore, these petas are the ones who are waiting for that. Now imagine if a deva comes and rejoices our merit, yes, they can get the merit. In case, for example, think some relative dies and born as a tree deva near the house, he is observing the merits that are done by the relatives, he may sadhu rejoice and he may get the merits. Petas are the ones that Buddha said that would get the merits. So how do we bring this into a logical context? Now, there is a place that I cannot answer in how the process is going on. It says that when you look into the doctrine, when you study the doctrine, you understand that they are always observing us. They are always waiting for some of the relatives to give a dana. So whenever we are going to give a dana, they get the message. I don't know how they get the message. So somehow they get it and they come to that position and they rejoice on it. That's the thing. Now, if a relative dies, someone beloved relative dies, and he or she is born in a very bad like a destination, not all petas can get merit. Some are just suffering, that we cannot help them. Some petas we can help. So they are always in watch. What our relatives are doing, are they doing merits for us? So if someone does, they rejoice on it. Then how far it can reach, how far it can go, that's another question. So and how do they get the message? That's the next problem, because petas are not always watching us. They may have their own work, because according to literature, petas do have marriages. Maybe you have not heard about that. They have villages. They do marry with asuras actually. They are, asura means asura kaya, not the deva asuras, the hell asura, the ones who are in the awful realms. They have marriages. They have ceremonies. Petas have ceremonies. Maybe I don't know whether they have bestmen and all, but what kind of a ceremony is that? But somehow they do have relationships. They do have families. They do have sex. They have children. They bear children. Some petas. There are some peta villages. According to that's mentioned in Theravada teachings. So it is not that all the petas are always observing and wishing for merits and all this. So there is a possibility that one peta is doing some other activity while some merits are done for them. So in such a scenario, does he get a message or in some other way? I'm unable to answer this question. I don't know how it happens. But it is said that mostly petas are on the watch. I can give you some story in the Peta Battupali. Sailors were traveling in the sea and they met a female peta and she was full of suffering. And the sailor had compassion towards her and she said, I'm going to die in 7 days and be born in the Avicii hell. So he asked, is there any way I can help? Yes, you go to the Jetavana or some other monastery. I forgot where the Buddha was that time. So you offer something to the Buddha and please share the merit with me. I'll rejoice that. So she was in the sea. So it showed that she could see it and she was observing it. Sometimes they have that divine capacity to see far away. And then maybe she got the message. I don't know how it happened. Somehow she enjoyed it. She rejoiced on it. And she was safe. She didn't go into the hell. So she was born in the divine realms, if my memory was correct. So therefore, likewise, they are always in watch. And they rejoice on the merits that we do. And they get the merits for their kusala chitta. It's not because of our kusala chitta. When they rejoice, they get the merit. And if they are in some other work, do they get the message somehow? I'm not sure about that. To my knowledge, there is no such information found in the doctrine. So it seems like they may not get a message, so they have to be always watchful and observe if they are in need of merit. Because if they are in need of merit, it's their responsibility to observe, right? So that's another way to think about it. And if they're careless in that sense, they may lose the opportunity, maybe. Yes, so that is it. And final more thing in addition, because I know, especially in Indonesia, they are very interested in sharing merits, and they have a lot of ceremonies, which is a good thing, which is a very good thing. I do appreciate that very much. And there are two ways of giving merits. Like we give merits, like after this Dhamma talk, I'll be giving merits. We will be sharing merits for all the relatives. Idam vo nyati nang hotu. That is called anuddissa dana. Anuddissa means not specifically mentioning anyone else. Uddissa means someone does a dana for that particular parent or particular relative, mentioning his or her name, dedicated for his or her name. So it is mentioned in the doctrine, in books, in sub-commentaries, that if you, because it can be proven with the PATVDH Pali, if you do a merit specifically aiming at a group of petas or a specific person, the results, if they rejoice on it, results can be instant. Results can be instant. So we offer chivara to Sangha and share the merits with the dead relative. If she or she happens to rejoice it, there's a very high possibility that she or she may get the divine clothes on that moment, exactly on that moment. But if we give it in a general way, anyone who is there would enjoy this merit, but there's not going to be instant results, right? They are accumulating some merits for their samsara. So these are the two ways of sharing merits. So how far it doesn't matter as long as they can observe. She could observe that kusala kamma while in the sea, and she enjoyed and she got the result. So it shows that the distance doesn't matter as long as the peta can rejoice on the merit.
Sadhu. I'm modeling for the explanation.
It's a long explanation.
Brother Adi. Brother Adi.
Hello. Yeah. Yes. Should I translate?
Iya,
Yeah.
translate bahasa.
Translate.
Okay, it was too fast.
Okay. Anyway, the question is the question is the petanya ada meninggal leluhurnya misalnya di Amerika, dan kemudian kita di Indonesia gitu. Terus kita mau melakukan sharing merit gitu ya, melakukan pelimpahan jasa. Pertanyaannya ini work apa enggak gitu. meninggalnya di Amerika, kita lakukan pelimpahan jasanya di Indonesia. Ini jalan apa enggak nih pelimpahan jasanya, kan gitu pertanyaannya. Bante tadi ingatkan bahwa pelimpahan jasa itu bukan kayak transfer duit dari satu bank ke bank lain gitu ya, satu debit satu kredit ditransfer gitu ya, enggak begitu cara mainnya gitu ya. Jadi enggak, tetapi memang pelimpahan jasa ini bekerja bila pihak yang dilimpahkan jasa itu bermudita cita, ikut bahagia atas jasa kebajikan yang dilakukan tadi. Jika mereka tidak ikut bergembira, tidak ikut bersuka cita, maka tidak ada manfaat, tidak ada pahalanya di sana. Gitu. Itu sebabnya kenapa misalnya jika seorang leluhur itu terlahir sebagai manusia lagi gitu ya, terus kita lakukan pelimpahan jasa, ya nggak ada manfaatnya karena mereka juga nggak tahu kan bahwa ini dilimpahkan jasanya kepada mereka karena mungkin waktu itu masih bayi gitu ya, misalnya sedang menjalani lahir, nggak kelihatan. Begitu juga kalau mereka terlahir sebagai dewa misalnya, dewa itu sibuk asik pesta pora di sana, menikmati kenikmatan indera di sana ya, jarang lah nengok ke alam manusia ini gitu ya, maka ya jarang bisa tahu bahwa ini ada pelimpahan jasa untuk mereka. Tetapi dalam kasus tertentu misalnya ketika mereka meninggal dan kemudian terlahir katakanlah jadi dewa pohon gitu ya, pohonnya kebetulan seberang rumah atau dekat rumah gitu ya. Nah bisa tuh mungkin begitu kita melakukan sharing merit, lalu dewa ini melihat ingat, oh ya bisa mendapatkan dan bergembira bisa mendapatkan manfaatnya gitu ya. Nah, tentunya ada beberapa hal yang mekanisme ini yang kita nggak bisa jelasin semua gitu ya. Dalam literatur dikatakan bahwa peta itu mendambakan pelimpahan jasa. Peta itu selalu menunggu sanak saudaranya untuk melakukan dana, melakukan pelimpahan jasa kepada mereka, dan kemudian mereka bisa bergembira dan terbebas dari penderitaan yang mereka alami. Pertanyaannya tadi bagus, seberapa jauh ini bisa bekerja? Itu satu. Kedua, dari mana mereka bisa tahu kan gitu, kata Bante. Itu juga Bante agak sulit menjelaskan, karena dari literatur dikatakan peta itu juga punya kesibukan, bukannya cuma nungguin kita melakukan pelimpahan jasa, tetapi peta itu punya kehidupan sendiri. Mereka punya desa sendiri, artinya punya tempat tinggal ya, ada desa. Mereka melakukan pernikahan, punya anak istri di sana, punya melakukan upacara seremonial, perayaan-perayaan di sana gitu kan. Jadi mereka juga punya kesibukan sendiri. Apakah kemudian lagi pernikahan terus di sini kebetulan kita melakukan pelimpahan jasa pada waktu itu, gimana taunya gitu kan dia tahu, atau gimana milihnya gitu lagi nikah gitu ya istilahnya. Nah itu agak sulit gitu ya, dari mana dia tahu, bagaimana mekanisme memberi informasinya ke sana, Bante juga tidak bisa menjawab. Tetapi yang jelas begini, di dalam peta watu ini Kudaka Nikaya Tipitaka ya, ada seorang pelaut di tengah samudra bertemu dengan seorang peta di sana yang sedang menderita. Peta ini mengadukan nasibnya. Dalam 7 hari dia akan meninggal dan kemudian terlahir di alam Awici, di neraka Awici. Karena si pelaut ini merasa kasihan, dia menanya, apa yang bisa saya lakukan untuk menolong Anda untuk tidak bisa mendapatkan keadaan yang lebih baik. Peta ini bilang, pergilah kepada Yang Mulia Buddha, lalu lakukan dana kepada Yang Mulia Buddha, lalu limpahkan jasanya kepada saya. Ingat, petanya ini ada di tengah laut, tengah samudra. Nah, si pelaut harus jalan dulu, mendarat, bertemu dengan Yang Mulia Buddha, melakukan pelimpahan jasa. Tetapi si peta yang di tengah samudra ini, entah gimana caranya bisa tahu gitu, dan kemudian ikut bergembira, dan akhirnya kemudian tidak mengalami nasib buruk untuk masuk ke dalam neraca Awici seperti itu. Nah, jadi tapi bagaimana mekanisme tepatnya itu agak sulit dijelaskan. Gitu. Nah, pelimpahan jasa juga bisa dilakukan dengan 2 cara. Pertama adalah yang umum, ya, seperti misalnya nanti habis Dhammatalk ini Bante akan mengajak kita melakukan pelimpahan jasa, tidak spesifik, tidak menyebutkan nama mendiang, tidak menyebutkan kepada siapa, peta mana kita melimpahkan ini, gitu ya. Nah, ini biasanya manfaatnya ya siapapun yang mendengarkan, siapapun yang sedang bergembira bisa mendapatkan manfaat seperti itu. Tetapi yang cara kedua adalah kita betul-betul melimpahkan spesifik. Saya melimpahkan ini kepada mendiang A misalnya. Kalau ini spesifik dan kemudian mendiangnya mengetahui dan kemudian ikut bergembira, maka manfaatnya bisa dilakukan instan seperti itu. Mungkin begitu. Ya, terima kasih.
Sadu. That's the last question, Bante. So no more question.
Okay.
Sahabat Dhamma, demikian akhir dari sesi tanya jawab malam ini. Terima kasih atas partisipasinya. Oke, Sis Cecilia, silakan.
Terima kasih Sis Patricia. Baik, sahabat Dhamma yang berbahagia, mari kita semua bersikap anjali dengan segala kerendahan hati. Mari kita memohon maaf kepada Bante atas kesalahan yang pernah kita lakukan, baik melalui pikiran, ucapan, dan perbuatan sebelum dan selama acara malam ini berlangsung. Bante, if we have done something wrong in the past and present, whether intentionally or unintentionally, through actions of our body, speech, or mind, may we sincerely, humbly, and respectfully ask for Bante's forgiveness. Sahabat Dhamma, mari kita limpahkan jasa kebajikan yang telah kita lakukan dengan pelimpahan jasa yang akan dibimbing oleh Bhikkhu Watagoda Maggavihārī. Mari kita semua bersikap anjali. Bante, we would like Bante to please guide us for the sharing merits and aspiration recitations. We will follow unmute Bante.
Can you put the page on?
Share slide, silahkan. Oh, maybe we should recite the asking for forgiveness first, Bante. Let me recite it first. Okasa wandami Bante.
Suki hotu nibbana sapaccu hotu.
Maya katang punyang samina anumoditabang.
Sadhu sadhu anumodami.
Samina katang punyang mayang databang.
Anumoditabang.
Sadu sadu anumodami. Okasa dwaratayena katang sabang acayang kamatami Bante.
Kamami kamitabang.
Sadu okasa kamami Bante.
Okay, we'll share that. So with this merit of discussing Dhamma, preaching Dhamma, and listening to Dhamma, may all of us be able to attain Nirvana as we aspire, and also may our dead relatives enjoy this merit, and all the devas enjoy this merit, and this will be a supportive factor for the sustaining of the Buddha Sasana. Idamme punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu. Idamme punyang nibbanassa paccayo hotu. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang. Sabbe deva anumodantu, sabbe bhuta anumodantu, sabbe satta anumodantu, sabba sampatti siddhiya. Idang vo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang vo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang vo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Mama punya bhagang sabba sattanang bhajemi. Te sabbe me samang punya bhagang labantu. Sadhu sadhu sadhu. Buddha sasanang chirantittatu. Buddha sasanang chirantittatu. Buddha sasanang chirantittatu. Sadhu sadhu sadhu.
Thank you again for the explanation, Bante Anumodami. May our merits of keeping the precepts, listening to the Dhamma, and sharing of merits be strong supporting conditions for our attainment of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Bante, the Dhamma talk today has ended. If Bante would like to rest, Bante is welcome to leave the meeting. Thank you, Bante. Sahabat Dhamma, kami mengundang untuk mengikuti kembali Dhamma Desana minggu depan yang akan disampaikan oleh Sayadaw Janeyacara dalam sesi khusus Q&A atau tanya jawab pada hari Minggu tanggal 26 Maret 2023 pukul 19 hingga 21 malam waktu Indonesia bagian Barat. Terima kasih kepada sahabat Dhamma yang telah bergabung dalam Dhamma Talk ini. Dengan segala kerendahan hati, kami panitia menyampaikan permohonan maaf jika ada kesalahan atau kekurangan selama Dhamma Talk berlangsung. Sampai jumpa di kebajikan berikutnya. Sukihontu, Namo Buddhaya. Sadhu, sadhu.